Chapter 65. The villagers were terrified. They had never seen such a weird thing. Such a weird scene made them even more certain that Wang Dai and his wife were killed by the evil demon. Originally, if the villagers faced such a situation, they would have fled. However, young Master Lin was here, so they couldn't leave. If something happened to young Master Lin in the Wang family village, they wouldn't be able to live. Moreover, young Master Lin treated them well, so they couldn't abandon him and run. The thinking of farmers was relatively simple. Whoever treated them well, they would be grateful and use their lives to repay that person. "Cousin, don't let that thing run," Lin Fan said. During this period of time, he focused on Liang Yongqi in order to gain rage point. If he did too much, Liang Yongqi would become useless. If he continued, not to mention whether or not Liang Yongqi could take it, even he would feel guilty. Now that this thing appeared, it was a good thing. Zhou Zhongmao's expression was solemn, a layer of light covered his palms. "Cousin, let me test what this fellow is." Instantly, thick internal strength wrapped around Cousin's arms. He hollered, his fists smashing towards the ground. "Demon ape true intent." Kong. A vicious demon ape formed from internal strength roared in rage. An earth dragon rolled on the ground, the dirt broke apart, and a strong internal strength struck towards the room. Pung! Pung! The black mist in the room shook and a low sound spread out. However, there was no movement at all. "Cousin, it doesn't seem to work." Zhou Zhongmao was shocked. What was that thing? It could actually block his move. That shouldn't be the case. Although the black mist didn't have a physical form, the aura it gave off wasn't as strong as he thought. If it was really strong, in the house just now, she might not have been able to bring her cousin out safely. Go Z blade. Lin Fan reached out and took Go Z's blade. Tiger roared. He slashed out, and a crescent blade light slashed into the room. This slash contained Lin Fan's strongest internal strength. Zhou Zhongmao was shocked. He didn't expect Cousin to become so strong. Just that blade alone had the strength of Martial Path Grade 4. Moreover, it was peak. However, the black mist wasn't injured at all. It just trembled slightly. Rage points plus 444. Who knew that one blade would give him rage points? What was that thing? It gave him rage points so easily. The more it was like this, the more he wanted to communicate with the other party, the better it would be for him to be able to obtain this thing. If he could spur him on all day and grind on him whenever he had nothing to do, perhaps it wouldn't be long before his own strength would rise to an extremely high level. He was being pressured everywhere. These days of enjoyment were not stable. Only by raising his own strength a little would he be able to crush all the fellows who stood in his way. "Cousin." Zhou Zhongmao wanted to ask his cousin how he became so strong, but before he could say anything, Lin Fan interrupted him. To Lin Fan, scolding people would damage his image and affect his identity as a rich young master. If there weren't so many people around, they would definitely start scolding him. But now that the villagers were here, he could only use his knife. He dispersed his cultivation. His physique returned to 0. Rage points plus 12,000. At a point, Thunder Blade 4 styles had been upgraded to the perfection realm. He adjusted his destructive power to its strongest state. Instantly, the Purple Sun 4 sacred scripture circulated. Purple internal energy poured into his hands, and the blade condensed a purple glow. At the same time, a small electric current condensed on the blade. He let out a low growl. Heaven and Earth Destruction. The strongest move of the Lightning Blade 4 styles, it was also the strongest strength that he could use. At that moment, a purple knife glow that contained terrifying power roared out, causing friction with the air. Sparks flew as it slashed into the room. A low and heavy sound spread out. The black mist in the room seemed to have been injured, and a really deep hole appeared. It was like water being sliced apart and then it slowly recovered. It wasn't quick. However, it was indeed slowly recovering. One could see with the naked eye that when the knife glow slashed in, the thin lightning swam about in the black mist like it was causing damage to the enemy. This situation is a little weird. Or do I need a special element to deal with these things? After Lin Fan slashed, he didn't feel tired. Instead, he was really pumped up. Lightning Blade 4 Styles was a high-grade blade technique. With his current internal strength, it wasn't easy for him to slash out his strongest knife. Logically speaking, that knife was enough to suck out all the internal strength in his body. However, it didn't affect Lin Fan at all. Zhou Zhongmao's mouth opened wide and his eyes opened wide. Too strong. He knew about the Lightning Blade 4 Styles. It was one of the top techniques in the Lin family. Cousin had actually cultivated the Lightning Blade 4 strokes to the fourth, which was also the last stroke. It was really terrifying. Rage points plus 556. Lin Fan looked at the situation in the room. Rage points came and the black mist rumbled. However, it didn't exit the room like it was being restricted. When I slashed out, there was an electric current flowing. Does that mean that the blade technique has the lightning element? This weird black mist doesn't have any immunity towards lightning, so it was directly injured. He thought about it, that should be the case. Lin Fan held the knife and stepped forwards. He slashed out once more, and the knife glow broke through the air and slashed into the room. The black mist shook and boiled, like there was a face of a demon roaring out. A sharp sound spread out. Ah! Many villagers covered their ears and rolled on the ground. Cousin, let me do it. Zhou Zhongmao stepped forwards and circulated energy in his dantian. He opened his mouth, and a thunderous tiger roar exploded out. One could see the air being shaken by the naked eye, forming circles of ripples. It blocked the sharp sound of the black mist. You are a little arrogant, one more blade. Lin Fan took the chance to slash down. The black mist rumbled. As expected, that was the case. The thin electric current dealt a lot of damage to the black mist. Rage points plus 666. The black mist deducted 6 points for Lin Fan. These few blades probably made the black mist really angry. Just as Lin Fan wanted to slash a few more times, the black mist retracted like it was being sucked away by something. Suddenly, Lin Fan noticed that the soil at the corner of the room started to swell like something was fleeing. Cousin, chase with me, he wants to run. Lin Fan held his knife and chased. Cousin, Zhou Zhongmao wanted to tell his cousin not to chase as it was too dangerous, but his cousin didn't listen at all. He could only chase. Go Z, inform the guards to find us. The moment he said that, he had already disappeared without a trace. Go Z immediately went back. He is so quick. Lin Fan followed behind. He raised the knife in his hand and slashed towards the slope that was fleeing into the distance. The blade light struck out and directly slashed into the soil. It was tough for him to meet one, so how could he give up? He had to fight to the death and capture it to study it. Zhou Zhongmao quickly overtook Lin Fan. He had to protect his cousin's safety. Cousin, kill him. We have to stop him. Lin Fan slashed once more, stop running. If you have balls, stand still. Very quickly. In front of them was a thick forest. Lin Fan chased. They left the village and came to a dark forest where the sunlight couldn't shine in. The black mist swooped. It seeped into the forest and disappeared without a trace. Where did he go? Lin Fan searched. Zhou Zhongmao protected by Lin Fan's side. Cousin, we chased too far. Be careful and don't fall for his trap. Chapter 66. They didn't chase into the forest. Just outside, one step away, the sunlight shone down. One side was really bright while the other was a little dark. Lin Fan wasn't a fool. If he charged in recklessly and faced danger, what would he do? It was tough for him to have the life of a rich family young master. If he really died and became livestock, he would definitely be slaughtered. The soil in the forest was a little moist. It was obvious that it was formed from not being exposed to sunlight for a long time. At the same time, a gray mist spread all around, slowly drifting about. It felt really dark and terrifying. At that moment, the escaping black mist appeared and gathered together, forming a human shape. It merged into the gray mist and one couldn't see its face. One could only roughly see what it looked like. "If you have balls, then come out," Lin Fan shouted towards the human-shaped black mist in the forest. It really knew how to run. The two of them chased for a while before they managed to reach this place. Looking at the situation, the black mist obviously wanted them to enter the forest. That was impossible. If the enemy didn't move, then he wouldn't move. If he didn't attack in a bad environment, it would affect his normal performance. The black mist didn't move and didn't say a word. It just stood in the gray mist and stared at Lin Fan with a pair of furious eyes. Rage points plus 222. Just like that, rage points came. He felt that the rage of these weird things was much stronger than normal people. Lin Fan wouldn't let go of such a chance and scolded, "You shameless thing, you actually dare to cause trouble in my Lin family village. If you have balls, then walk in front of me. I will twist your head off and kick it like a ball. What are you looking at? If you are unhappy, then come over. What are you doing hiding in such a place?" Zhou Zhongmao was stunned as he looked at his cousin. He was really passionate about scolding. "Cousin, calm down. Scolding will harm your body." How could Lin Fan not scold? If he didn't, then he wouldn't get any rage points. Rage points plus 333. It was really too easy. He felt that the small support system wasn't for him to become strong, but for him to enjoy the process. In case things got too boring, he just wanted to have some fun. There were signs of fluctuations around the human-shaped black mist. Suddenly, the mist gathered together and struck out at Lin Fan one by one. This black fog was like a python, twisting and wriggling. Then, the top of the fog exploded, forming a black python's mouth, and two sharp teeth bit over. Lin Fan slashed down with sufficient internal strength. The lightning blade 4 strokes was really fierce, and the black mist seemed to be afraid of it. Bang! The black mist that formed the python's mouth instantly exploded and dispersed into the surroundings. Rage points plus 444-inch petty trick. Stop hiding. If you have the guts, come out. What's the point of hiding in there? Lin Fan held his blade and waited. As long as he dared to come out, he would definitely chop him until he couldn't take care of himself. If he really couldn't do it, it was all because Cousin was by her side. "Cousin, do you have any skills that have a lightning attribute?" Lin Fan asked. According to the previous exchange, he realized that the black fog was afraid of electricity. Was this the same as all evil and filthy things being afraid of lightning? "Yes, but it's just an ordinary palm technique," Zhou Zhongmao said. "That's enough. This thing is afraid of lightning. Just use that ordinary palm technique to deal with it." Lin Fan really wanted to grab hold of this black mist and caress it properly. If he could succeed, he would definitely soar into the heavens. Zhou Zhongmao believed his cousin's words and didn't doubt him at all. "Okay, I will try." "Cousin, don't come in." Even if he really couldn't, with his strength, he would be able to retreat. However, if Cousin was in trouble, then he would regret it. He hollered. Zhou Zhongmao charged into the forest and then hollered. "Big Dipper silence palm. Hong Long." There was a low thunder sound in Cousin's body. Lightning wrapped around his palms and crackled. The thigh-thick lightning wrapped around his body and moved along with his hands. "Damn, this is a normal palm technique? Cousin, you are acting cool." If this was a normal palm technique, then he would have seen a ghost. At that moment, Cousin was really quick. He came in front of the black mist and slapped with his palms. Terrifying lightning surged forwards. Pung! The black mist exploded. Its body was really unstable. "Cousin, it really works," Zhou Zhongmao hollered. He thought that it would be easily dodged or that it wouldn't cause any damage, but now it seemed like the damage was not bad. Lin Fan was delighted. Okay, I am here. Let's take down this thing. The moment he said that, he immediately rushed forward. Physique returned to normal. At the same time, he used his rage points to add Lightning Blade 4 strokes, basics, Lightning Blade 4 strokes, advanced, Lightning Blade 4 strokes, mastery. He was left with 44 rage points. However, this was enough. Physique and internal strength had reached martial path grade 4. If he fought with the black mist, he should be able to fight it out. Cousin, be careful. Zhou Zhongmao was worried. Thick internal strength broke out of his body and lightning gathered in his palms. He slapped forwards and was about to scatter the black mist. Slash. Lin Fan hollered and slashed out. The aura was even stronger. Strength along with internal strength, the aura that exploded out was even more terrifying. Poochie. The black mist was slashed by the blade. The lightning on the blade sizzled and gave off a huge threat. So, I am strong too. Lin Fan muttered. After adding points to such a level, apart from not being able to gain an advantage against the assassin, he had been feeling really frustrated. However, it felt really good to fight the black mist. It felt really good to slash it. Cousin, retreat first. Leave it to me, I can deal with it. Zhou Zhongmao said. He wished that his cousin wouldn't make a move and leave everything to him. What would he do if he was injured? Cousin, what are you saying? You can deal with it, but you have to make me feel good. Stop talking, just kill him. Lin Fan used his strongest blade each time. The black mist was furious. The two of them surrounded him, and one of them gave him the biggest threat. He wanted to flee, but he couldn't. Pung! The black mist smashed into the ground. His body gave off a mist that was struck by lightning, and he would twitch occasionally. Cousin, what is the strength of this thing? Lin Fan asked. Zhou Zhongmao said, it is similar to peak martial path grade 6, but it is too weird. One needs to use a special cultivation technique to deal with it. Without it, it would be really problematic. The two of them didn't take long before they subdued it. It was really simple. At this moment, the black mist dissipated, and its body was revealed. It looked like a human, but its skin was really black, a dark and sinister black. How is it? I told you not to be arrogant. Lin Fan stepped on his head and humiliated him to his heart's content. Rage points plus 555. The black mist was furious. Suddenly, it clawed towards Lin Fan. It was really quick. Poochie. Lin Fan waved his blade and sliced off its entire arm. Black liquid scattered. Don't resist, be good. The black mist trembled. There was no black mist protecting its body, and only a thin black mist spread out. Cousin, be careful in case it tries to resist before death. Zhou Zhongmao reminded. Lin Fan thought about it and nodded his head. Cousin, your words make sense. Just at that moment, Zhou Zhongmao grabbed the legs of the black mist and used his hand as a blade to slice down. Poochie. Both legs were sliced off. Then, he tore off the other arm. Black blood splattered onto Zhou Zhongmao's face. Cousin wiped it off and smiled. Cousin, it is okay now. His expression was really calm, like he had done something really normal. There were no fluctuations at all. Lin Fan looked at his cousin. He only had one thought in his heart, which was that he was really amazing. His methods were really overbearing. Good, not bad. Cousin, you have made me look at you differently. Bring this thing back and let me play with it. Chapter 67. This thing was definitely not human. His 4 limbs were broken, but he didn't even scream, and the blood was black. He didn't understand what it was. It could only be said that nothing was too strange in this world. There were unknown creatures in this world. Wang Village. Go Zi hurried back to inform the guards. Young master and instructor chased after that weird living being, and it was unknown if they were dead or alive. He was really worried. She had worked hard to cultivate just to protect the young master. However, it was useless. It was as if he was born unsuited for cultivation. In the distance, two figures walked over. "Young master," Gozi shouted. He heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that he was safe. If something really happened, he wouldn't feel at ease. Zhou Zhongmao threw the mysterious creature on the ground. "Bring it back." The guards were shocked. They had never seen such a creature before. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and carry it." Zhou Zhongmao glared at them. These brats had not trained much recently, and they were already greasy. What was there to be afraid of? Other than looking a little ugly, there was nothing special about them. To ensure safety, Zhou Zhongmao used the special inner energy of the Big Dipper silence palm to seal his limbs. At the same time, he left a bit of inner energy in his opponent's body to suppress him and ensure that he would not struggle on his deathbed. When the villagers saw this terrifying thing, they couldn't help but step back. This was the culprit who had killed Wang Dai and his wife. As expected, he wasn't human. This was a demon. "Villagers, the culprit has been caught. You can rest in peace and bury this family properly. If something like this happens again in the future, come and find me at any time." Lin Fan couldn't wait to go back and play with this thing. "Thank you, young Master Lin." The villagers were moved to tears. This was because the hidden danger in their hearts was resolved. If it wasn't resolved, they really wouldn't dare to live here. No one knew who would die next. "Let's go back." Lin Fan led the group and left. Their rewards were not bad. Lin Mansion. Old Wu came back much faster than young master. When Go Zi came back to inform him, he felt that things weren't right. He rushed towards the Wang family village. He knew what it was, and it wasn't something young master could deal with. However, when he got there, he noticed that young master and Zhongmao had already settled the matter. But this wasn't solving the problem, it was creating trouble. In the study, Elder Wu knocked on the door and entered. Lin Wani was reading a book. He raised his head and asked, "What's wrong, old master?" Old Wu wanted to say something but hesitated. He didn't know what to say. Lin Wani put down the book and asked doubtfully, "What's the matter?" That was what he asked. However, a bad premonition shrouded his heart. In the past, old Wu would always speak his mind. It had never been like this before. "Someone died in the Wang family village this morning," said old Wu. After thinking about it, he decided to lay the foundation first. It would not be good for him to directly use his ultimate move. The ones who died were a couple. Young Master and Zhongmao went to Wang family village to find out the truth, and then they met the Yin demons. Lin Wani frowned. "Didn't I tell him not to go out during this period of time? Why is he so disobedient?" "Forget it, since he met him, then so be it. Suffering a little loss will teach him a lesson." "Old master, that..." Old Wu found it tough to speak, but he had no choice. He had to say it. Young master didn't lose out. That Yin demon was captured by young master and Zhongmao. His limbs were broken. He should have been sent back to the back courtyard. "What? Patter!" Lin Wani stood up. His eyes opened wide and his face flushed red. "You said that the unfilial kid and Zhongmao captured the Yin demon and broke his limbs?" If old Wu didn't say it, he wouldn't believe it. Yin demons needed special cultivation techniques to break the body, otherwise it would be useless. Of course, Yin demons had a weakness, which was that they couldn't appear in the day, otherwise they would lose all their strength and could only move in the dark. However, all of this wasn't the main point. The main point was that the unfilial kid actually brought the Yin demon back. He knew that the unfilial kid would cause trouble, but he didn't need strength to do so. It was easy to solve, or rather, he could just ignore it. However, he really didn't expect that he could actually offend such a thing that required strength to do so. "Let's go take a look." Lin Wani had to take a look. This unfilial kid was causing trouble for him. Back courtyard. The Yin demon was placed in a metal lump, leaving only his head outside. Lin Fan held a spatula and used the back of it to pat the Yin demon's face. Are you angry? Young master is asking you, are you angry? He had to use this chance to get some rage points. The demon bared his teeth, revealing his sharp teeth. With one bite, he would probably be able to swallow a person. Rage points plus 111. It was a little. So little rage points, it was a little unfair to his identity. How overbearing and domineering was he from before adding them? It seemed like each person's rage points had a limit. From the initial rage to habit to numbness, there was a process. Under the sunlight, the demon was powerless. A pair of furious eyes stared right at Lin Fan. He could only bare his mouth to express his rage. Cousin, be careful. Zhou Zhongmao guarded at the side in case this thing went berserk and hurt his cousin. To him, this was a dangerous thing. Lin Fan laid on the chair, holding the spatula to tease the demon. He smiled. It is okay, this thing is a little interesting. Why do I feel like it has no energy? Is it because it shone on the sun? If the sun was their counter. It was just a little higher than a ghost. The spatula in his hand poked the demon's face. He didn't have any intention of killing the demon. He just bullied him like that. It was a good thing to gain some rage points. Rage points plus 123. After poking for a while, some rage points appeared. However, no matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. He wasn't so extravagant. Father's rage points seemed to have reached a bottleneck. Unless he faced a shocking matter, he wouldn't be able to break through. Young master, old master is here. Gozi said softly. Lin Fan was thinking about all this when he saw Father and old Wu walk over. He got up. Father, why did you come? Why did he come? His question was a little professional. He caused trouble outside and didn't even know about it. He actually asked him why he came. He knew the answer but still asked. He looked at the demon who was locked up in the metal lump, only his head was exposed. Lin Wani didn't know what to say. This demon was strong, martial path grade 6. Along with his special ability, he was a problematic person. He didn't expect that this troublesome thing would be caught by his unfilial son. His 4 limbs were all lost by his unfilial son. How useless was that? Of course, if Zhong Mao was beside the unfilial son, the situation would be different. Before Lin Wani said anything, Lin Fan asked, Father, what do you think this thing is? He actually dared to kill people in Wang family village. That is our Lin family territory, those villagers are our wealth. Now that I captured him, we have to teach him a lesson. Don't worry, I have thought of a way to let this fellow know what the outcome of harming our Lin family is. There was nothing wrong with what he said. Wang family village was the Lin family's territory. The villagers were the Lin family's wealth. Lin Wani had many things to say, but his unfilial son's words made him speechless. He didn't know how to deal with it. His words made sense. Chapter 68. Uncle, cousin is right. Wang family village is the Lin family's property. This weird thing is killing the villagers. It is harming the Lin family's interests. Zhou Zhongmao said those words not because he felt pained for the villagers that died, but because he had to protect his cousin's property. He definitely wouldn't allow outsiders to harm the Lin family. Zhongmao, I have something to do. Lin Wani thought about it and felt like he had to send Zhongmao out. He just said it. As long as he came back, this unfilial kid would drag his cousin out to cause trouble. Uncle, I feel like my cultivation is about to break through. I want to wait until I break through before I go. Zhou Zhongmao said. This was to separate him from cousin. One trip would take several days. If they were further, it might even take half a month. He had to find an excuse to reject it. Lin Fan said, Father, cousin just came back and now he has something to do. That is too much, let cousin rest at home. If there really is something else, let old Wu help. Shut up. Lin Wani stared. I haven't asked you, how are you going to deal with the demon you brought back? Father, this is called a demon? Lin Fan asked. So this thing was called a demon, just the name made it sound a little weak. Lin Wani said with an annoyed expression. Don't change the topic, I am asking you, how are you going to deal with it? Lin Fan thought about it for a moment and said, Father, I have thought about it. Directly killing him would be too easy on him. I will let him die quickly and decisively. So, I want to torture him during this period of time. Then, I will boil a pot of oil, boil it, let it bubble, fry it, and feed it to the dogs. Old Wu looked at young master. He didn't expect him to have such cruel methods. He really didn't see it in the past. Father, don't think that I am vicious. The main thing is that this demon is really dark, it is afraid of lightning and sunlight. I will boil it and fry it for a few days to reduce the energy in its body to prevent future problems. Lin Fan said. Lin Wani found it weird. How did this unfilial kid know the demon's weakness? When he was young and lived in U City, he had met a demon. When he fought it, he felt that it was really tough. In the end, he found out the demon's weakness and felt that he was really smart. However, this unfilial kid knew its weakness right after meeting it. What was going on? Rage points plus 333 rage came. So, the demon was furious. When he heard what Lin Fan said, the flames of rage in his heart couldn't be extinguished. They actually wanted to fry him. Damn it. Hand the demons to me, I will deal with them. Lin Wani said. Lin Fan waved his hands and rejected. Father, how can I let you deal with this? It is just a small matter, leave it to me. I also want to study what demons are. What a joke. How could he hand the demon to his father? If he really gave it, where would he find rage points? He had to wipe out all the demons. When that happened, he would give it to whoever he wanted and he wouldn't reject it. Lin Wani looked at the demon and didn't know what to say. Maybe this was the most tragic demon he had ever seen. It wasn't a shameful thing to be subdued by anyone. However, he didn't expect to be captured by his unfilial son and have his 4 limbs broken. This was a huge loss of face. Okay, then you can slowly study it. Lin Wani didn't want to say more. There was nothing more to say. Everything was already decided, so what else could he say? When old Wu left, he looked at the demon. He shook his head. This demon was strong to others, but to old master it was too weak. Cousin, why do I feel like uncle didn't say anything to us? Zhou Zhongmao said. Lin Fan touched his chin. That seems to be the case, but don't worry about it. Let's study this demon. To old demon, he was really tragic. He had a bad start. After killing 2 people, he was caught before he was even able to relax. After he was caught, he didn't receive the treatment he deserved and was instead humiliated. Lin Fan's walk would smack the demon's face. He didn't have a goal. He would occasionally ask whether or not it hurt. The rage points that the demon provided were a little unstable. Sometimes high, sometimes low. However, it was still okay, at least there was rage points. Under Lin Fan's instructions, Cousin removed the iron lump and tied the demon to the wooden frame. Lin Fan took a look and said unhappily, Cousin, I am not scolding you, but you didn't clean it up properly. Why? Zhou Zhongmao asked curiously. What wasn't quiet? Lin Fan raised his hand and pointed at the demon's hanging limb. Look, there is another limb. Zhou Zhongmao scratched his head. Cousin, I was too careless. I will chop it off now. Rage points plus 666. Instantly, the demon was struck by rage point. Maybe no matter which race it was, that thing was really important. Forget it, leave him some face. Don't touch the bottom line of a man, otherwise, what is the point? Lin Fan took the wok and played with it. There is nothing special about it. Humiliation. Unbridled humiliation. The demon hollered. However, under the suppression of the sunlight, he didn't even have the strength to speak. Only those furious eyes stared right at Lin Fan. Go-Zi was terrified. Young master's words were actually really vicious, but his expression was too calm, making one feel a chill down one's spine. He walked around the demon. On its back, there were 2 tumors covered in green meridians. The other parts were no different from a human's. Lin Fan took the walk and smacked the demon's butt. Kiki, there is some elasticity, not bad. Go Z's body shuddered. Those words were too evil. Rage points plus 233. The demon was like an item, being inspected by the shopper. That night, the sky was really dark and the wind blew. The Lin Manor road reflected many black shadows. They were the shadows of the tree branches on both sides. The reading room was brightly lit. Lin Wani held the book and was really focused. Occasionally, he would drink some tea. Amorous Feelings. This book was the masterpiece of Zhang Jun, a master storyteller. It described the matters of the imperial dynasty and the inner palace. It was written really realistically. When this book was published, it sold really well and swept the world. Unfortunately, on the second day this book was published, Zhang Jun drowned in a **T hole. The books on the market disappeared overnight and only this one was left. It was the only copy that Lin Wani had kept for dozens of years. When he was free, he would take it out and read it. The wind outside became stronger. The wooden door creaked open and then closed. Another creak opened and then closed. Occasionally, there seemed to be a black shadow at the window, appearing and disappearing. Lin Wani sighed and closed the book. He said towards the air, "Since you are here, then come in. Why do you have to be so sneaky?" A black mist seeped in from the crack of the door. Black mist gathered on the green bricks of the reading room. It rolled and formed into a human shape. One couldn't see its face and it was really blurry. "Bring your men away. Remember, don't disturb my son's rest," Lin Wani said. There was no reply. Lin Wani asked, "Is there a problem?" "Lin Wani, does the promise you made with us still count?" The demon opened his mouth. His voice didn't sound like a human's. It was dark and indiscernible, filled with a thread of fear. "Of course, but my son doesn't know about it, so I can only apologize. Bring your men away and we will forget about this matter," Lin Wani said. The black mist around the demon was really thick, even thicker than that of the demon that Lin Fan caught. "Your son sliced off the limbs of my race's warrior and is provoking us. Apart from releasing him, I want one of your son's legs as compensation." "Are you serious?" Lin Wani stared at the demon. The demon didn't say anything as there was a huge pressure covering him. Like if he dared to say that he was serious, he probably wouldn't be able to walk out of this place. However, when he thought about how he wasn't alone and that he had the entire demon race behind him, his courage came. "I came to tell you what my race wants. As for whether or not you can do it, that is your problem. If not, then I will take your son's life." The moment he said that, the demon turned into a black mist and disappeared from the spot. Lin Wani got up like he didn't care about the demon at all. He picked up the book and placed it on the shelf. This was mental food and couldn't be destroyed. "Unfilial kid, you really know how to cause trouble." Lin Wani walked out of the reading room. "Old master." Old Wu appeared at the side. Lin Wani said calmly, "The demons have slept for 20 years and have become dumb. It is time to wake them up." Chapter 69. U City, East Forest. To the people of U City, this place was really dangerous and hid many secrets that no one knew about. There were people who entered this place and never came out. At night, when they got close to the East Forest, occasionally they would hear low roars spread out from the dark forest. It was really terrifying, like there were evil demons within. Pata, pata. 2 people appeared in the forest and landed on the ground. The darkness was like a demon that wanted to swallow the 2 of them. "Old master, the demon race has awakened, and this place has become dangerous," Old Wu teased. He felt like he didn't care about this place at all. He said those words just to tease them. Dangerous? I want to let the dangers here know what true danger is. 20 years ago, if they threatened me, I could laugh it off. As for now, I have to make them pay the price. Lin Wani's calm attitude disappeared, and what replaced it was an overbearing one. His aura changed greatly. Old Wu knew what Old Master meant. He didn't have a child 20 years ago, so they could kill him however they wanted. Now that Old Master had a young master, how could he be threatened by them? Even if it wasn't true, with Old Master's personality, he would kill the danger in its cradle. The darkness can only scare normal people. Lin Wani took a look and stepped forwards. He hollered, "Retreat." An aura that normal people couldn't have exploded out. A fiery red glow appeared behind him. It was extremely eye-catching, and the surrounding darkness retreated. The fiery red light lit up the dark forest. "ZZ!" The demons in the darkness cried out. Red patterns appeared on their bodies like flames were burning in their bodies and were about to burst out. Old Master's methods have become more overbearing. Old Wu exclaimed. He hadn't seen Old Master attack in a long time, and now that he looked at him, he was really extraordinary. In the dark forest in the distance, the black mist was boiling. "Lin Wani, what do you want to do?" A dark and sunken voice spread out. "There is no point in talking so much. Let's kill a wave first." Lin Wani replied. He didn't give them a chance to talk to him. Demons struck from the darkness. Lin Wani waved his arm, and a scorching flame broke through everything. The demons didn't even cry out before they turned to dust. The demons hidden in the depths looked on in terror. What was going on? Wasn't it just a threat? Now it was time to get serious. Was there a need to be so serious? It was dawn. The backyard of the Lin mansion. Lin Fan woke up early and took a deep breath of fresh air. He was in a good mood. Such a carefree life could really degenerate people. But he didn't care. Let this continue and let this young master continue to fall. Zhou Zhongmao brought the demon who nearly had his fifth limb chopped off back to look after him. When he slept, he placed him at the side. At night, the demon recovered its strength and wanted to cause some trouble. However, Zhou Zhongmao stopped it. In this round, he immediately became well-behaved, not daring to act rashly. The demon wanted to cry. Who did he offend for him to suffer like this? Furthermore, he had clearly sensed the aura of his own kind last night. He had thought that he would be saved and was secretly happy. However, he didn't expect to see a ghost. There wasn't even a bubble. In the blink of an eye, the sky brightened. Lin Fan had his breakfast in the backyard. He just ordered some bird's nest stewed with old ginseng, which tasted all right. They didn't eat these to fill their stomachs. "Are you hungry?" Lin Fan held the wok and turned around to look at the demon. In the morning, it wasn't good to use violent methods to deal with the demon. He had to be gentle. As time went on, the weather became more and more explosive. The demon didn't say anything. He just stared at Lin Fan in rage. "Did anyone die in the city this morning?" Lin Fan asked. 2 people died in the Wang family village, so there shouldn't be just one demon. It had to be a group. If there were more, he didn't mind capturing the other demons to deal with slowly. "Young master, no," Gozi said. He then thought about something. However, there was a fire in the east forest. Someone saw that the forest was covered in flames and many screams could be heard from far away. Lin Fan frowned. Who did it? So immoral. Didn't they know that the forest was a good thing? Whether or not the air was fresh depended on the trees. As for the screams, there were definitely many animals that died. Haze. At that moment, Lin Fan's merciful heart exploded out and he sighed. Was it a natural disaster or was it done by humans? Did they go to fight the fire? Lin Fan asked. Gozi was stunned. Fight the fire for what? If it burned, then so be it. Who knows if it was a natural disaster or done by humans? However, the fire was suddenly extinguished. Gozi was really confused. Who knew what was going on? Such a huge forest, if it was on fire, it would burn brighter and brighter. However, in the end, it was suddenly extinguished. Lin Fan listened on and felt that there were many weird things about this matter. How would a burning flame be extinguished by itself? It seemed like many things that no one knew about happened last night. Young Master, are we going out later? Gozi asked. With young Master's lifestyle, he would definitely head out. During this period of time, young Master didn't stay in the manor for long. Apart from coming back to sleep at night, he would head out once he woke up. Let's talk about it later. Let's have a good chat with this fellow. Go to the kitchen and tell someone to boil a pot of oil. I want to experiment with something. Lin Fan instructed. The Een demon, who was sliced into a human stick, raised his head. Boil oil? What did he want to do? Rage points plus 111. Lin Fan received the rage points and felt much better. He got up, picked up the spatula and pointed it at the Een demon. Cousin, do you think the Een demon's body structure is different from ours? Cousin scratched his head. This question was a little deep. How would he know that the Een demon's body structure was different from theirs? Cousin, should I split him open? Zhou Zhongmao asked. He was willing to solve anything for his cousin. If cousin had something he didn't understand, he would think of a way to let him understand. As for what the Een demon's body structure was different from theirs, he really didn't know. The Een demon's body shuddered, and for some reason, fear covered his heart. He looked towards Zhou Zhongmao. How could this unprepossessing, dark-skinned fellow say such ruthless words? What is the rush? Lin Fan said. He suddenly felt that under his cousin's honest look, he was actually a little cruel. The Een demon heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like he was temporarily safe. He had been waiting for people of the same race to save him. People of the same race definitely wouldn't abandon him. Very quickly, Gozi carried a pot of oil over. Before it was boiled, he sent it over to the courtyard to boil. The Een demon looked on and his heart shook. Pa-ta. Lin Fan smacked the Een demon's face with the spatula and asked, Are you afraid? The Een demon looked at Lin Fan. The human in front of him insulted him so badly. Rage burned in his heart as he roared out. However, the moment he opened his mouth, the spatula reached in and opened his mouth. Cousin, his teeth are worth researching, pull them out, Lin Fan said. Cousin didn't hesitate, his fingers filled with internal strength as he stabbed in. With a kacha, a sharp tooth was pulled out and a thick stench spread out. So smelly! How long has it been since I last washed my teeth? Lin Fan waved his hands and chased away the stench in the air. D.D. The pot of oil boiled. He directly tossed the tooth into the pot to boil for a while before scooping it out. The originally black tooth turned white. This was a shocking discovery. Rage points plus 222. Cousin, why is the tooth white? It is obviously black. Zhou Zhongmao asked. Lin Fan thought about it for a moment. Maybe this is what happens after the Een energy of the Een demon is chased away. Zhou Zhongmao said, Cousin, then let's put him in to try? Oh my god. Cousin was so cruel? Why didn't he notice it in the past? Chapter 70. Old Wu watched from the shadows. He wanted to say something but hesitated. It wasn't that he was dissatisfied with his young master's actions. But this Een demon was a little tragic. Go back and inform Old Master. In the living room. Old Master, young master didn't go out. He is studying the Een demon in the back courtyard. He pulled out its teeth and boiled some oil to place it in. Hayes, Een demon is really unlucky to meet young master. Old Wu exclaimed. Een demons were really terrifying in the darkness. Just looking at them would terrify some people. But her young master was really awesome. He studied the Een demon in broad daylight, not bothering about him at all. He didn't even leave him any dignity at all. Lin Wani didn't understand what was so fun about Een demons. If it was a woman, he would be overjoyed. The sooner they got married, the sooner they had children. In the future, they wouldn't have to place all their hopes on him. They could be as hedonistic as they wanted. He would definitely raise his grandchildren well. But this unfilial son didn't give him a chance. What else could he do? It's good that he didn't go out. At least he doesn't cause trouble for me, and I have to clean up his mess. Lin Wani said and then asked, which family do you think is good? I want to find a marriage for this unfilial kid. Old Wu pondered. Old master, how about Rong City's Li family's young miss? I heard that the young lady of the Li family is extremely beautiful, and her martial arts are not bad. She doesn't have the bad habits of a young lady, just that her temper is a bit rash. If young master can become a couple with the young lady of the Li family, perhaps she can control young master. Speaking of marriage, old Wu was interested. He had watched the young master grow up and treated him like his own child. Old man Wu was not young either. He had no relatives or children. He had been at the Lin family's beck and call all his life. He did not want to have anything to worry about other than the Lin family. And the eldest daughter of the Li family, Li Jixio, not bad, a smart little girl. Lin Wani was very satisfied. When it came to choosing a wife, he was quite serious. Lin Fan trained the Yin demons in the back courtyard. The furious Yin demons provided many rage points. The boiling oil was giving off bubbles. To the Yin demons, this was a really dangerous matter. The wok in Lin Fan's hand smacked the Yin demon's butt, leaving 2 deep red marks. The Yin demon didn't feel ashamed, but he felt that Lin Fan was insulting him. Until the afternoon, the Yin demons had brought Lin Fan over 1,000 rage points. That was something that had to be honed slowly. It seemed like the rage points of the Yin demon had reached the peak and were really unstable, even being suppressed to a very low 0 point. Dozens, hundreds, and more than 100 slowly pulsating like this. After playing with the Yin demons for half a day, he suddenly felt that it was pointless. The increase was too little. It was not enough at all. Take this thing with you and go out. He didn't want to stay at home and had to head out to gain gains. This Yin demon seemed to be used to it and didn't provide much rage points. Young master, what about the oil pot? Gozi asked. Lin Fan said casually, keep it. Continue to cook it. Come back and cook it. Rage points plus 88. Look here, look here. Look here. 88 points. It wasn't even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. He was very disappointed with this thing. At first, he thought that he would soar into the sky and instantly max out his point. But now, he realized that he was just a piece of trash. A group of people walked into the street. The Yin demons attracted the attention of many commoners. They had never seen such a creature before, and their curiosity was piqued. They passed by Drunk Fragrance Pavilion. Habitually, they raised their heads and noticed that there was a familiar person. Looking closely, wasn't that the second son of the Yuan family, Yuan Tianchu? He looked like a dog with a long forehead. He also had some animosity with him and didn't have a chance to deal with him. Now that the chance was here, naturally, he wouldn't let it go. However, one had to say that aristocratic family disciples all looked good. Thinking about it, it made sense. How could a girl who married into an aristocratic family be ugly? If she was ugly, she wouldn't be able to enter the gates of an aristocratic family. Young Master Lin, you are here. Please take a seat. The manager welcomed him warmly. However, when he saw the Yin demon, he felt a little off. His body felt itchy, like there was a cold energy in his heart. In the pavilion, Yuan Tianchu drank and ate. At the same time, he was talking to a young man. Looking at his dressing, he wasn't a normal person. At that moment, he looked at Lin Fan from the corner of his eyes. His expression was slightly weird, but there wasn't much change. He acted like nothing had happened. The person drinking with Yuan Tianchu noticed his expression. He turned his head and took a look. He then asked a few questions and got Yuan Tianchu's confirmation. He couldn't help but look at Lin Fan. This was the U City Lin Manor young master. Lin Fan noticed that someone was looking at him and smiled back politely. Like he was saying, "Brother, you look a little unfamiliar." The seat he chose was next to Yuan Tianchu's. The two tables were next to each other. He told cousin to place the Yin demon on the left, and he looked towards Yuan Tianchu's table. "Young Master Lin, what would you like to eat?" The manager welcomed him warmly. "Anything is fine," Lin Fan said. The manager smiled. "Okay, young Master Lin, please wait for a moment." Lin Fan didn't talk to Yuan Tianchu and just sat there. Zhou Zhongmao was prepared to fight. Based on cousin's habits, a battle would explode in an instant. Yuan Tianchu didn't know what this fellow was planning. However, seeing that Lin Fan didn't offend him, he was lazy to bother. Slowly, he felt that something wasn't right. There was always a pair of eyes staring at him, making him feel uncomfortable. He glanced and exchanged glances with the Yin demon's eyes. The Yin demon's gaze made one uncomfortable, especially after he was tortured by Lin Fan to the point he nearly collapsed. His eyes were filled with rage and darkness. Yuan Tianchu turned his head and didn't look at him anymore. He continued to eat. Rage points plus 88. It was obvious that the rage points were given by Yuan Tianchu. This move was really despicable. People were having a good meal, but you directly placed a person with broken limbs in front of them. Moreover, the fifth limb was hanging in the air. Who could eat that? Yuan Tianchu raised his cup and wanted to drink with him, but suddenly, he saw an afterimage. He turned his head and didn't expect that it was the Yin demon's fifth limb. Yuan Tianchu's stomach rolled. He wanted to vomit, but he forcefully swallowed it back down. "Young Master Yuan, are you pregnant?" Lin Fan said after a long while. "Pooh." The guy sitting opposite Yuan Tianchu spat out a mouthful of wine. He really didn't expect young Master Lin's words to be so funny. Rage points plus 111. Yuan Tianchu didn't bother about Lin Fan. He didn't want to have a conflict with Lin Fan here, especially when his cousin was here. To him, his cousin was a fool who didn't hold back and didn't care about anyone. If he was really beaten up, he wouldn't even have a place to complain. Lin Fan saw that Yuan Tianchu didn't bother about him, so he didn't ask for trouble. He told the Yin demon to stare viciously at them, causing them to panic. There was a delicacy on the table. However, to Yuan Tianchu, it was tough for him to swallow. "Young Master Lin, can you not let this thing face us? It is uncomfortable," Yuan Tianchu said. Lin Fan replied, "Just don't look at him." Rage points plus 233. Yuan Tianchu was furious, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't eat this meal anymore. "Damn. Lin Fan, you win. If you have balls, then just wait and see." "Waiter, bill." Yuan Tianchu got up and slapped the table to pay before leaving. He felt really uncomfortable being stared at by that thing. Not to mention eating, he didn't even feel comfortable sitting there. When Yuan Tianchu left, Lin Fan also paid the bill. "Quick, follow him. Cousin is carrying that thing, so just face it at him," Lin Fan said. He had nothing to do every day, apart from doing something for himself. What else could he do? If he had to blame someone, he could only blame himself for being too peaceful. P.S. Thank you, DRK Dino, 20,000 Chidian dollars. Chapter 71. Young Master Yuan, do you have conflicts with young Master Lin? Wang Yunfei asked. Yuan Tianchu replied, "There is no conflict." This was a genuine lie. How could there be no conflict? He didn't want to tell Wang Yunfei that the conflict between him and that fellow had always existed. In fact, he even wanted to kill this guy. He was so annoying. "How is that possible?" Wang Yunfei said with a weird expression. "If there is no conflict, then why does it feel like young Master Lin is chasing us?" Yuan Tianchu turned his head and saw Lin Fan chasing. "Cousin, run over first." Run in front of him and let the demon face this fellow. Go wherever he goes. Lin Fan instructed. He didn't expect this kid to run so quickly. If his eyes weren't sharp, he might have been able to escape. Yuan Tianchu was stunned. Did he bump into a ghost? Why did he bump into such a dumb thing? Although there was conflict between them, it wasn't on the surface. Especially today. He was eating and bumping into you. Looking at the situation, you were chasing him relentlessly. It was really terrifying. Instantly, Zhou Zhongmao blocked in front of Yuan Tianchu. The demon behind him stared at them. The demon was expressionless. He felt that he was really pitiful. Yuan Tianchu and the demon stared right into each other's eyes. That feeling was really uncomfortable. He changed his direction to avoid the demon's eyes. However, Zhou Zhongmao followed closely and kept the demon in their sight. Damn! That dog! Did he have to be so overboard? Rage points plus 123. Lin Fan raised his head and looked around. He acted really casually, like he didn't know what was happening here. As expected, he gained rage points. He didn't do anything today and just stared at Yuan Tianchu. He had such a boring life, so he had to find some fun for himself. The rage points he gained were okay. Although it wasn't a lot, it was a good start. Yuan Tianchu suppressed the rage in his heart and walked in front of Zhou Zhongmao. Can you not stand in front of us? Zhou Zhongmao turned his head. Is the road yours? What does where I stand have to do with you? That one reply made Yuan Tianchu want to hit him. However, he knew that he couldn't beat Zhou Zhongmao, so he could only bear with it. Wang Yunfei didn't come from Rong City to Yu City to play. He didn't come out to mediate the conflict between young Master Yuan and young Master Lin. He just watched from the side. One is marked by the company one keep. Only by standing on the periphery could one see more clearly. You win. Young Master Wang, please follow me. This way. If I can't beat you, I'll just avoid you. He knew what happened to Liang Yongqi. He fought Lin Fan head-on and was beaten up on the street. After that, he didn't even get a fart. He would never let such a thing happen to him. Zhou Zhongmao saw them change directions, so how could he let them escape? Cousin had instructed him to follow them no matter what and not lose them. Therefore, he put in 120% of his focus and stared at his target with full concentration. If this counted as acting points, then his score could only be 0. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Zhang Xian was intentionally following the other party. It wasn't a coincidence. Patter. Suddenly, Yuan Tianchu's vision blurred, and a figure appeared in front of them in a hurry. There seemed to be something moving in front of them. Zhou Zhongmao's back faced the two of them, and the demon was really close to their faces. With its limbs broken, the naked demon was no different from a pile of shit. Where is this? Why did I come here? Zhou Zhongmao acted like he didn't see the two of them. He floated and looked left and right, acting like he didn't see the two of them behind. Rage points plus 233. Yuan Tianchu clenched his fists. Zhou Zhongmao, what do you want to do? I am looking for my cousin. Zhou Zhongmao said. Your cousin is behind. Yuan Tianchu pointed at the annoying fellow in the distance. He did it on purpose and was obviously targeting him. He actually used such despicable methods to annoy him. Zhou Zhongmao replied. He continued to look left and right, not thinking about leaving at all. Yuan Tianchu was about to rage. I already told you that cousin is there, so what are you still looking for? Zhou Zhongmao replied. I am looking for my cousin. Forget it. You are purposely angering me, right? Okay, you win. One day you will get what you deserve. He really didn't expect that he would face such a thing when he went out. Why didn't he see that these people were so despicable? Young Master Yuan, don't be angry, let's just avoid them. Wang Yunfei said. Okay, young Master Wang, please follow me. Yuan Tianchu suppressed the rage in his heart and smiled. Wang Yunfei was the Rong City Wang family young master, so naturally, he had to treat him well. Who knew that he would face such a thing? It was completely disrupting his mood. It also spoiled his plan to treat young Master Wang. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. Rage points plus 333. Originally, Zhou Zhongmao followed them and would occasionally appear in front of them. But in the end, Lin Fan came too. Lin Fan came as well. No matter where they went, he would follow. He had no intention of letting them go. Yuan Tianchu's face turned red. He was furious. That damn thing. He had nothing better to do. How did he end up being targeted by this thing? Or did he not look at the calendar before heading out? He definitely couldn't fight him. He couldn't beat him. What else could he do? He couldn't be more shameless than the other party. Lin Fan, you are too much. Yuan Tianchu's face was dark and sunken. Originally, only your cousin carried this disgusting pile of sh*t to discuss them. Now you joined in too. Lin Fan turned his head and asked curiously, Brother Yuan, what did I do to you? I am looking for my cousin, what does that have to do with you? King, Zhou Zhongmao, who are you looking for? Yuan Tianchu's chest rose up and down. I am looking for my cousin, Zhou Zhongmao said. The world was silent. Yuan Tianchu pursed his lips and took in a deep breath. He had to calm himself down, otherwise, he would be angered to death by these two fellows. Are you guys really King blind? They were right beside him, and they were talking about finding one another. Why didn't they go to the toilet to find sh*t? Go Zi was helpless. Young Master really knew how to play. Young Master Yuan was so furious that steam was coming out of his head. Wang Yunfei sighed. If he was in Rong City, he would have been beaten to death. He provoked Yuan Tianchu several times, but that wasn't the main point. The main point was that he was here too. With such a disgusting thing facing them, it was a form of provocation. Young Master Lin, I am Rong City Wang family's Wang Yunfei. You all are a little too much, Wang Yunfei said. Since that was the case, he could only report his background to help Yuan Tianchu out of the situation. Yu City was far away, poor, and lacking in resources. He heard the older generation say that out of the 3 aristocratic families in Yu City, the Lin family was really strong and they shouldn't offend them. However, to him, so what if they were strong? They were restricted and couldn't develop much, so how strong could they be? Cousin, where are you? Lin Fan shouted. He didn't care at all and was just trying to brush him off. Cousin, where are you? Zhou Zhongmao and Lin Fan were at a loss. The two of them didn't bother about Wang Yunfei. Who was this? What did he come for? Chapter 72. Rage points plus 333. Rage points plus 123. Both Chinese and foreign cultures were in harmony, and both styles blossomed. Look at this, he was really overbearing, giving him 2 sets of rage points right away. The lesser one was definitely Yuan Tianchu and the greater one was definitely Wang Yunfei. To make the other party explode with the greatest anger was to ignore the other party. Making the other party feel that they were being looked down upon and that they were not being taken seriously was not a good feeling. As for offending people, wasn't that a joke? With the current situation, how many people had he offended? He had already offended 2 out of the 3 aristocratic families of Yu City. As for the other one, it was more or less the same. Anyway, his father had a huge problem with him, so he had offended half of them. As for bullying commoners, he would not do such a thing. If a man wanted to do something, he would do it with a strong man. Cousin, where did you go? Lin Fan searched. Cousin, I'm here. Zhou Zhongmao waved his hand. The Yin demon on his back rubbed against Yuan Tianchu, scaring him so much that he wanted to curse out. Damn it. He was almost hit by that swaying thing. It was on purpose, it was definitely on purpose. Damn it. Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao completely ignored Wang Yunfei's existence. "Cousin, where did you go? I've been looking for you for half a day," Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao was a little embarrassed. "Cousin, I didn't go anywhere. I got lost." From their words, it was clear that they didn't treat Yuan Tianchu and Wang Yunfei as normal people. They were treating them like blind people. "Young Master Lin, did you really not hear what I said to you?" Wang Yunfei's heart was filled with anger. Who was this blatant disregard for? As a young master of an aristocratic family, he naturally had his manners and wouldn't be easily angered. Lin Fan treated Wang Yunfei like air and continued to chat with his cousin like he didn't hear anything. Rage points plus 444. The increase in rage points shocked him. This person was really so overbearing to actually provide so much. Or was it because he was a stranger and this was the first time they met, so the rage points he provided were much higher? Wang Yunfei had never been ignored like this before. This was especially so when it came to face-to-face communication. The distance between the two parties was less than half a meter. Even if he was blind, he wouldn't be deaf. It was on purpose, it was definitely on purpose. Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao's acting was terrible. The difference was not just a little bit. However, such poor acting skills were enough to make anyone furious. Especially since he was the young master of an aristocratic family, his status was very high, and he was the kind of person that was the center of attention. Suddenly being neglected, it was natural that his mentality would collapse easily. But this one wasn't too bad. Even so, he endured it. However, it was hard to say how long he could endure it. "Young Master Wang, calm down. Let's ignore them," Yuan Tianchu said. He would not allow Wang Yunfei to have a conflict with Lin Fan. Based on the current situation, if a physical conflict really broke out, they would definitely be the unlucky ones. This guy's cousin was a humanoid monster, and his attacks were brutal. Wang Yunfei being beaten up had indeed provoked a conflict between the two families, but his Yuan family would have to say goodbye to the Wang family. After all, the Wang family's young master was beaten up in the Yuan family's territory. It didn't make sense at all. Wang Yunfei held back his anger. These words were originally said to Yuan Tianchu, but he didn't expect to be used on him in the end. "Damn bastard. Brother Yuan, are you passing by?" Lin Fan asked. Yuan Tianchu stared at Lin Fan as though he was about to swallow him whole. But that was not the main point. The main point was that he was really deaf. Young Master Wang spoke to him for so long, but he acted like he didn't hear anything. How amazing, how capable. "Young Master Lin, I am talking to you." Wang Yunfei couldn't help but open his mouth. What a waste. Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao didn't care, blinking as they stared at Yuan Tianchu. As for Wang Yunfei, he was once again ignored. "You really didn't hear anyone talking to you?" Yuan Tianchu asked. He suddenly noticed that this fellow was a demon. Young Master Wang spoke to him till now, and even if he didn't want to bother, he should at least reply to prove that he heard it and just didn't want to reply. But what was his attitude now? Disregard. A clear disregard. Lin Fan smiled. "Isn't it just Brother Yuan talking to me? Why, is there a problem?" Wang Yunfei's expression became uglier and uglier. Livid, livid. Yuan Tianchu saw that young Master Wang's expression was so ugly. If this continued, he might really faint. Without saying a word, he pulled young Master Wang and left. He didn't want to say another word to Lin Fan. Even one sentence felt like it was a waste of time. Wang Yunfei was pulled away by Yuan Tianchu. When he left, he turned his head and stared right at Lin Fan. Like he was saying, "He had guts. I will remember you. No one has ever dared to ignore me so blatantly, you son of a b***tch. Young master, are we going back now?" Gozi asked. He felt that the matter had ended. After all, young master had played for so long and it was enough. He made him so furious that he wanted to spit out blood. If he was young master, he would definitely stop and let it go. But regretfully, Go Z wasn't young master, so he couldn't understand how despicable young master's methods were. Just like that. Killing the chicken to get the eggs. As for whether or not there would be more in the future, he didn't care. Why are we going back? Follow quickly. Lin Fan called, Cousin, don't forget what I told you. Keep an eye on them. Don't worry, cousin, Zhou Zhongmao replied. This matter was really despicable, so despicable that there was no end to it. But to him, he would do whatever cousin said. Don't ask so much, that was the plan. In the distance, young Master Wang, calm down. Yuan Tianchu consoled. Seeing that young Master Wang was so angry, he actually felt like he was causing trouble. He suddenly felt much better. In terms of being angry, young Master Wang was the angriest. The person they disregarded was like a transparent person. Calm down? Brother Yuan, how do you want me to calm down? I really didn't expect the Yu City Lin family to be so arrogant. I am standing in front of him and he actually acted like he didn't see me. Is he disregarding me? Wang Yunfei was furious. Arrogant. Just too arrogant. If he was in Rong City, I would let him know what the outcome of disregarding me is. Facing young Master Wang's grumbling, Yuan Tianchu expressed his sympathy. Fanning the flames depended on the situation. If the Lin family was weak, they would definitely be diligent in fanning the flames. But now that the Lin family wasn't weak, there were some things that couldn't be messed up. Otherwise, they might end up hurting themselves. I know about Brother Wang's ability, but forget it. Don't lower yourself to his level. He is just trash who relies on his family. Yuan Tianchu said. Suddenly, a wind blew in front of him. Yuan Tianchu turned his head and was stunned. That thing appeared in front of him once more. Zhou Zhongmao's emotions were a little huge. The Yin demon's fifth limb waved slightly like it was provoking them. There was a feeling that if you dare to bite, I will dare to shoot. P.S. Thank you, DRK Dino, 30,000 reward. P.S. Thank you, 1 move to bury the bill, 10,000 reward. Chapter 73. He was most afraid that the air would suddenly become silent. That was the case now. Yuan Tianchu and Wang Yunfei stood rooted to the spot, especially Yuan Tianchu, who was about to collapse. Are you a demon? Zhou Zhongmao listened to his cousin's arrangements. Anyway, he just stood in front of the two of them and followed them wherever they went. Even if Yuan Tianchu went to the toilet, he had to open the door and stand in front of him with his back facing him. Rage points plus 123. Yuan Tianchu was furious. He was purposely targeting him. He wanted to scold out, but suddenly, his heart shook and he suppressed the urge. Lin Fan's actions were too weird. Why was he doing that? Or was there some unspeakable plot hidden within? He thought about it for a moment. He came back to his senses. If he didn't control himself and scolded Lin Fan and had conflicts with him, his cousin wouldn't sit still and not do anything. He would use violence to suppress the two of them. Wang Yunfei would definitely suffer. In the end, his Yuan family would be dragged into the center of this whirlpool, and it would be impossible for him to escape. With the Wang family's position, they definitely wouldn't sit still and not do anything. They would definitely fight the Lin family, and his Yuan family had to stand with the Wang family. However, the Yuan family was a Yu City aristocratic family. The three aristocratic families wouldn't allow outside powers to enter. If the Yuan family stood with the Wang family, naturally it would break the balance, so the Liang family would definitely fight against them. Thinking about it, it was terrifying. What a cruel method. Instantly, Yuan Tianchu broke out in a cold sweat and pulled Wang Yunfei away. Damn. He nearly fell for it. Lin Fan was totally confused. He saw that Yuan Tianchu's expression was really dark. He thought that he would be furious and shout out to give some rage points, But who knew that he would just pull the person and run? He didn't give him a chance at all. Was it so difficult to bully people now? Naturally, he would follow Yuan Tianchu wherever he went. Who knew that Yuan Tianchu would directly bring Wang Yunfei back to the Yuan Manor, and not go out to play, such that he didn't know where to start? Cousin, they went home, Zhou Zhongmao said. He couldn't follow. When Yuan Tianchu returned, he specially told the guards that if the Lin family young master came, they had to stop him and not let him enter. Like he was saying, "This young master is afraid of you, all right? Don't follow me." Sigh, so boring. Lin Fan shook his head and sighed. He had finally found some fun, but it ended just like that. Yu City was still too small. There weren't many grand families. If there were more than 10 grand families, they could take turns coming here every day. Liang Yongji was definitely still resting at home. If he didn't rest for a period of time, he probably wouldn't be able to come out. Go home. Since he had nothing to do, he could only return home. The backyard of the Lin mansion. Lin Fan laid on the chair and ate fruits, occasionally looking at the Yin demon. The Yin demon was captured just 2 short days ago and was played like that. He was considered half a cripple. But he was still useful, so there was no need to throw him away for now. Looking at the data of the small support system, it was not bad. Physique. 120, Martial Path Grade 4, Internal Strength. 120, Martial Path Grade 4, Mental Cultivation. Purple Sun 4 Sacred Scripture, Second Heaven, Cultivation Technique. Vengeful Tiger Blade Technique, Returning to True, Bug Controlling Technique, Basics. Unmovable King Body, Unlearnt, Lightning Blade 4 Strokes, Mastery Through Comprehension, Mixed Energy Broken Jade Hand, Unlearnt, Rage Points, 5863. Relying on the small support system to add points, his cultivation speed was already really quick. He didn't even cultivate much, just adding points when he had nothing to do. He was really happy. Adding points. Internal strength rose all the way to 150. Martial Path Grade 5. Looking into his body. The internal strength in his body continued to strengthen, much stronger than before. He didn't care much about all this. He didn't want to cultivate and just wanted to be a rich family young master, eating and waiting to die. However, he was forced by others. If he didn't cultivate, he wouldn't be able to sleep peacefully at night. There were people who came to cause trouble every day, so what could he do? Adding points to the Purple Sun 4 Sacred Scripture. This heart cultivation technique was not bad. He felt that after cultivating it, his internal strength became more destructive. 1000 rage points. Heart cultivation. Purple Sun 4 Sacred Scripture, Third Heaven. Grade 2 and Grade 3 consumed the same rage points. Was this because it was hard to get started and easy to cultivate? The purple internal strength was much stronger. This was the special internal strength of the Purple Sun 4 Sacred Scripture. Cousin, why do I feel like you became stronger? Zhou Zhongmao said. He had such a feeling. He noticed that a purple mist flashed across his brow, so he shouldn't have seen wrongly. Lin Fan smiled. No, I saw wrongly. Zhou Zhongmao thought about it, that was impossible. He had seen it clearly. How did he see wrongly? He shook his head. Since cousin said that he saw wrongly, then so be it. Yuan Manor. How was playing with young Master Wang? Old Master Yuan asked. Rong City Wang family young master came to Yu City, so naturally he had to play well. Some of the Yuan family's businesses had a close relationship with the Wang family. Rong City wasn't their territory, so they couldn't stretch their hands there. This was why they had to have a good relationship with the Wang family. The more Yuan Tianchu thought about it, the angrier he got. Father, let's not talk about it. I met that Lin family piece of trash who specially went against me. I could only come back early. When Lin Fan was mentioned, the Yuan and Liang families all had a headache. He was just like a dog. He would bite anyone he caught. Who knew what he did to him in the past? How much hatred did he have? Father, he is sick in the head. He let his cousin carry a person whose limbs were cut off and face us. He disgusts me and young Master Wang every day. He pretty much follows us everywhere we go. Yuan Tianchu went on and on, completely making Lin Fan out to be a sinful villain. When old Master Yuan heard that, his expression became really ugly. This Lin family kid was so lawless, it was obvious that he didn't care about the Yuan family at all. Their Yuan family was entertaining such an important guest, and he came to cause trouble. If something really happened, who would be responsible? How is young Master Wang now? Old Master Yuan asked. He is in the back courtyard. I invited the daughters of some rich merchants to accompany young Master Wang to help him relax. Yuan Tianchu said. To some of the rich merchants in Yu City, when they found out that their daughters could accompany the Wang family young master, they were really excited. They felt that their luck had come. If their daughters could be liked by young Master Wang, they wouldn't ask to be the main wife, but as a concubine, they would be able to become a phoenix. It was true that the rich merchants were rich. However, they didn't have power. They looked really cool, but there was a high chance that they would be taken advantage of. It wasn't like there weren't cases of them getting fat and being cut off. However, to Yuan Tianchu, this young Master Wang was really perverted. 2 wasn't enough and he wanted 5, 6, 7, 8. He was just lustful. One couldn't tell just from his face. One would think that he was a proper young master. Each time he went to the back courtyard to see young Master Wang, Yuan Tianchu would feel like he was in a brothel. His Yuan family suddenly became the biggest brothel in Yu City. Of course, Yuan Tianchu would hypnotize himself. His family wasn't a brothel. Chapter 74. Next day. Brother Yuan, I heard that Yu City has a brothel known as Hongxiu Pavilion. It is really famous. Wang Yunfei said. When he mentioned it, his brows danced and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. One might know a person's face but not their heart. Yuan Tianchu really didn't expect that Wang family young master would be so lustful. When they first met, he felt that as expected from Rong City Wang family young master. His aura and way of speaking were extraordinary, normal people couldn't compare to him. But now, F***** off. Everything was F*** king fake. When he first came, he wasn't familiar with them and could really hide. Later on, he didn't hide at all. On a certain night, Wang Yunfei sat in the back courtyard, drinking and talking. The night was beautiful, but unfortunately, he didn't have a beauty to accompany him. What a pity! He said it so clearly, so why didn't he understand? Yuan Tianchu wanted to suck up to Wang Yunfei and immediately went to arrange it. He directly said that Rong City Wang family young master was in the Yuan manor and wanted to recite poems with the daughters of the merchants. There was no need to say anything more. Who knew how many merchants sent their daughters over right away? Brother Wang also knows about Hongxiu Pavilion? Yuan Tianchu asked. Ha. Wang Yunfei smiled. I just heard rumors. I heard that Hongxiu Pavilion's special technician created 36 cloud flipping stances and 72 overturning rain stances. Nowadays, all the brothels in the world offer services that are imitations and not authentic. But even if they are imitations, they still make countless men linger and forget to go home. They are addicted to the taste and can't stop even if they want to. When it came to this, Wang Yunfei was an expert. Yuan Tianchu was stunned. What was Brother Wang talking about? He didn't understand at all. 36 cloud flipping stances? 72 overturning rain stances? Were they already so king domineering? Usually, he wouldn't go to such brothels. The Yuan family's teachings were rather strict, and they forbade anyone from entering these places. This was to prevent them from ruining the family's reputation or coming back with some diseases that would harm the entire family. Brother Wang, if you are interested, then let's go? Yuan Tianchu said. He had no choice. Looking at young Master Wang, he obviously wanted to go. If he stopped him, he would probably offend him. That isn't good, right? Young Master Wang acted like he was in a tough spot. After all, he was someone with status. If he went to a brothel in broad daylight, it wouldn't look good. Yuan Tianchu complained. How despicable. He obviously wanted to go, but he pretended not to. It was obvious that he wanted someone to lead the way. There was no other way. He was the Wang family's young master. Brother Wang, what is wrong with that? No matter what, this is one of the specialties of U City. It isn't a bad place, just reciting poems. Yuan Tianchu said. Wang Yunfei smiled. Right. Brother Yuan is right. I was thinking too much. How could I think of such things when I'm just reciting poems? Yuan Tianchu sighed. What a hypocrite. The two of them walked towards Hongxiu Pavilion. Yuan Tianchu looked around warily, not because he was afraid of being seen, but because he was looking for that despicable Lin Fan. But that's good. He hadn't found anything yet. In the dark, a figure sneakily watched Yuan Tianchu, following them to see where they were going. When he saw them enter the Hongxiu Pavilion, he hurriedly left. Hongxiu Pavilion. The girls stood in the attic, gorgeously dressed. Even though it was daytime, it could not resist their enthusiasm for work. That was their profession. To serve the customers. After the matter, when the customers said that their service was amazing, they would be delighted. That was recognition of their work. Wang Yunfei didn't have a paper fan, but for the sake of his aura, he bought one along the way. He had the special aura of a young master visiting a brothel. Brother Yuan, what do you think of my aura? Wang Yunfei asked. Yuan Tianchu thought about it. In his heart, he only wanted to say that he looked like a dog. However, he couldn't say that. If he did, he would offend him. Brother Wang, with your temperament, I admit defeat. Those women from the Hongxiu Pavilion will definitely swarm over and swallow Brother Wang. Yuan Tianchu boasted. Ha! Wang Yunfei laughed out loud. Brother Yuan reminded me that I can't be too outstanding, otherwise if I attract too much attention, people will be jealous of me. Damn. Were the aristocratic family's young masters so shameless? Young Master Yuan, I have waited for so long, and you are finally here. When the brothel keeper saw Yuan Tianchu, her eyes lit up. This was the Yuan family young master, a big landlord, a big customer. Yuan Tianchu coughed. This is Rong City's young Master Wang. He heard that your Hongxiu Pavilion is special, so he came to take a look. You have to treat him well. If you don't, then Hongxiu Pavilion can close down. The brothel keeper had a muscular body and felt that she was really alluring. However, in the eyes of others, she would only affect their appetite. She wasn't a fool. Young Master Yuan made it so clear, so how could she not understand? His meaning was obvious. This young Master Wang was the guest. She called for the girls to come and take care of this young Master Wang. Wang Yunfei opened his fan and entered under the protection of the girls. The ladies of the Hongxiu Pavilion all knew that two big customers had arrived. All of them rushed forward, striving to outdo each other. The table that was filled with delicacies was squeezed by the girls until Wang Yunfei was about to disappear. Madam, I heard that your specialty here is amazing. That Tong and I created 108 moves. Why don't you call him out and let me see what kind of person he is to have such knowledge? Wang Yunfei drank and hugged the girls as he asked. Okay, young Master Wang, please wait. The brothel keeper was really attentive and went to call him out. Very quickly. Here comes Tony. Which one is young Master Wang? His voice was like a duck's voice, it was neither male nor female. His throat was so big, His cheekbones were so high, but there was a layer of red on it. Wang Yunfei took a look and nearly spat out the wine in his mouth. Go down, tell him to go down. Stop looking, talented people can only live in the back, Wang Yunfei said. Scoff. Miss Tony stuck out her thumb and middle finger and turned around coquettishly. She twisted her butt and pinched her scarf with her thumb and middle finger. She said coquettishly, I don't want to see you yet. Pooh. Poison. Yuan Tianchu wiped the sweat off his forehead. He definitely wouldn't come here a second time. She was really poisonous. Wang Yunfei's mind wasn't on the dining table. He casually ate something and pointed at two girls, bringing them into the room. What he meant was for them to talk in the room. This place was too vulgar. Young Master Yuan, who are you interested in? The brothel keeper asked. Yuan Tianchu coughed. No need, I will just sit here and wait. How could the brothel keeper let young Master Yuan sit there? If he didn't take the money, he would be struck by lightning. She eagerly introduced them. Young Master Yuan, you definitely haven't come here before. Let me tell you, we have many services here. Luring the snake out of its hole. Sweeping across the plains. Water snake wrapping around the waist. Playing the lute to a cow. Music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Toppling mountains and overturning oceans. Savoring life. There are many types, 108 of them. They all came from Tony's hands and are the best of the best. Yuan Tianchu was stunned when he heard that. He had never heard of that before. What was she talking about? These terms are a little poetic. Is it a literary exchange? The brothel keeper smiled. Yes, it is a literary exchange. Yuan Tianchu kept silent for a moment. That's good, a literary exchange can improve one's own knowledge. Outside Hongxiu Pavilion, Lin Fan raised his head and looked. Scum, he actually came to such a place in broad daylight. Cousin, let's go through the back door. Listen to me, let's teach him a lesson. Yes, cousin. Zhou Zhongmao replied. P.S. Thank you, D'Arcadino, reward of 20,000. P.S. Thank you, Tyrant Dragon King Chao, Illusory Phantom, these two big shots will be rewarded greatly. Chapter 75. Lin Fan brought his cousin in from the back door. In broad daylight, when the sky was bright and the earth was clear, he actually dared to show off his treasured sword in broad daylight. This kind of behavior was really too vile. The Yin demon on Zhou Zhongmao's back was at a loss. Why did he bring me here? Why didn't he just kill me? He was tortured so badly that he didn't look human anymore. As a Yin demon, only he ate humans. No one had ever treated him like that before. Cousin, there are so many rooms, so how do we know which one? Zhou Zhongmao asked. Hongxiu Pavilion was the biggest brothel in Yu City, and had many rooms. It was really tough to find the two of them. Don't rush, listen carefully. Do you hear any special sounds? Lin Fan raised his hand and maintained silence. Zhou Zhongmao focused and listened carefully. Slowly, a sound spread into his ears. Cousin gave out a slightly rough and soul-stirring sound. Then, there was another sound. Ah! Lin Fan looked at his cousin and rolled his eyes. Cousin, what are you doing? Cousin, I am listening to the sound. Just now, a sound spread into my ears. Zhou Zhongmao said. Other people couldn't hear it, but his internal strength was deep and his ears were really sharp. Even if it was really soft, he could hear it clearly. What did the sound say? Lin Fan asked. Zhou Zhongmao listened carefully and then opened his mouth to learn from the sound that spread over. Lin Fan. Enough, stop learning. Lin Fan immediately stopped his cousin from learning those sounds. Damn, he did it so quickly, he nearly got hard. Let's go and find the source of the sound. The two of them were sneaky. No, they weren't sneaky, they were just doing it openly. This was just a brothel. It wasn't much. Within the room, Yuan Tianchu sat upright, his eyes were clear and there were no changes at all. However, his Adam's apple that moved up and down betrayed him. In front of him, the brothel girls were dancing. Their dance postures were really alluring and varied. All sorts of seductive postures were done in a simple manner. This isn't the literary exchange that I wanted. Yuan Tianchu felt that his throat was dry. He wanted to drink water, it was just too alluring. He really didn't expect that when the brothel girls wore translucent clothes, they would have such charm. They were more charming than any girl he had seen before. At this moment, panting could be heard from the next room. Yuan Tianchu cursed in his heart. Oh my God, they're fighting just like that. What young Master Wang? He was simply a beast in human form. Young Master Yuan, come and lie on the bed. I'll serve you. The lady from the brothel came to Yuan Tianchu's side. The fragrance from her body wafted out, and when her skin came into contact with Yuan Tianchu's, it instantly turned hard. I'm here for a literary exchange, Yuan Tianchu said. At this moment, he still wanted to play it safe. However, his body was very obedient. He followed the brothel lady's lead to the bedside. His heart skipped a beat and his heart skipped a beat. The brothel girl smiled faintly. Young Master Yuan, are you here for a literary exchange? You can play the role of a great writer, and I can play the role of a pitiful woman who admires the young master. Yuan Tianchu was stunned. F***ck. It was actually possible to play like this. Why was he so enthusiastic? Above the roof, Lin Fan and Zhou Zhongmao wanted to break down the door, but thinking that it would cause too much of a commotion, they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to meet their expectations. Hence, they decided to start from the roof and teach them a lesson. He lifted a tile and saw the situation inside the room. It wasn't as unbearable as he expected. Yuan Tianchu raised his cup, raising his head and reciting an emotional poem. The brothel girl at the side had stars in her eyes. She rubbed her chin and revealed an infatuated expression. She then slowly got close to Yuan Tianchu. Young Master Yuan, you are so talented. This poem is too beautiful, and it makes my body feel hot. Only by getting close to you can I feel better. Yuan Tianchu wasn't moved, he pushed the girl lightly. Little miss, please behave yourself. Scenario mode. It made Yuan Tianchu feel a different feeling. At this moment, he turned into a scholar. As his talent was too outstanding, girls threw themselves at him, but he wasn't moved. He acted like a gentleman who wasn't moved by beauty. What is going on? Lin Fan looked for a moment, and it was different from what he expected. They agreed to visit a brothel. He started to build piles. How did this happen? He placed the tile back to its original position, and then quietly walked to another room with his cousin. He lifted the tile. The situation inside was just like what Lin Fan expected. 3 bodies intertwined with one another. Sounds spread out continuously. This was much more direct than Yuan Tianchu's side. He raised his spear and fought a bloody battle. The waves got louder and louder. It totally covered any small movement. Cousin, what should we do now? Zhou Zhongmao asked. He felt that cousin's matter was a little complicated. Wang Yunfei was the Wang family young master, and naturally, his status wasn't low. If he wanted to play with him, there was no way back. At the same time, he made an enemy. Logically speaking, the smartest thing to do was to forget about it and not offend him too much. However, cousin's situation was that he had to deal with him, so how could he disappoint him? If he wasn't happy, then he would beat him up. As for what would happen, then he would think about it. Lin Fan thought about it and looked towards the Yin demon. The Yin demon was a little afraid from that gaze, like something bad was about to happen. He had no hope for people from the same race to save him. The Yin demons sensed the commotion in the East Forest. Someone went to the East Forest to start a massacre, and the Yin demons were terrified. They all had an emotional connection with one another. That night, he sensed the terror from numerous demons, like they had faced something really terrifying. Lin Fan shifted his gaze away from the demon and continued to lift the tile. He probably wouldn't be able to stop causing trouble in U City. If he didn't, then he wouldn't get any rage points. At that moment, the demon was stunned. What was he doing? Internal strength spread out from Lin Fan's body, forming threads that wrapped around the demon. He then slowly placed it down from the roof. Wang Yunfei killed the brothel girls on the bed. The battle was really intense. Creaking sounds spread out from the wooden bed. It was about to shake. The demon felt that things weren't right. Wang Yunfei was fully focused. There was a shadow in front of him, but he didn't care. He thought that it was another brothel girl playing tricks. He didn't say a word, holding the demon's face and kissing it. The demon was stunned. His eyes opened wide. What was going on? The humans weren't going to let the demons off? Ah! A terrified voice exploded out. So, the brothel girl smeared something on her body to help young Master Wang. However, when she saw young Master Wang forcefully kiss the demon, she panicked and shouted. Especially when she saw how vicious the demon looked, she was so terrified that she fainted. Wang Yunfei was delighted. He thought that the brothel girl couldn't handle his strength and started to scream. However, why did he feel that the taste in his mouth was really bad? Also, why did his teeth feel like they pierced his tongue? He opened his eyes and took a look. He was instantly stunned. He exclaimed. His eyes rolled back and he fainted. The brothel girl who was pressed down by young Master Wang also screamed and fainted. On the roof, Lin Fan was stunned. This was different from what he thought. They all fainted. Who was going to give him rage points? Wake up. At least he had to know who did it before he fainted. Chapter 76. Cousin, he fainted. Zhou Zhongmao said. I saw it. Lin Fan replied. The situation wasn't right. What should he do? He didn't do anything and just fainted right away. That was a little fake. Or was it that at that moment, one would collapse from fear? He hadn't experienced it before, so he wasn't sure. Cousin, then shouldn't we go back? Zhou Zhongmao asked. Now that he fainted, there was definitely no way to play anymore. Lin Fan was a little reluctant to leave, but he had no choice. Since he fainted, what else could he do? Quang Dang. The door was pushed open. Yuan Tianchu charged in. He was having fun with the brothel girls next door, and he had a good feeling about it. However, the exclamations from the room next door were just too loud. He thought that young Master Wang was having too much fun, but suddenly the sound disappeared. He was worried and hurried over. Lin Fan, it is you. Yuan Tianchu saw Lin Fan right away, and he hollered in rage. Rage points plus 123. He was like a ghost. Wherever he went, he would bump into this fellow. Yes, it is me. Lin Fan slowly pulled the demon up, pointing at the fainted Wang Yunfei. He fainted. Anyways, it has nothing to do with me. I will leave first. He then placed the tiles back and left. You are asking for trouble. Yuan Tianchu chided in rage. This fellow was asking to die, and no one could stop him. Looking at Wang Yunfei, who laid on the bed without moving, he was terrified. If something happened to Wang Yunfei here, it would be a huge problem. He took a look. He heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily, he was fine, he just fainted. However, that posture was really indecent. Even if he fainted, he didn't split apart. Young Master Yuan, what is going on? Young Master Wang is too strong. He made my little girl faint. The brothel keeper didn't know what happened. When she entered, she saw young Master Wang and the other girls fainting on the bed. She thought that it was too intense. She was really impressed. If she wasn't so old, she wanted to do something fun with young Master Wang. Get out, all of you get out. Yuan Tianshu waved his hands to tell them to scram. This had nothing to do with him. Wang Yunfei was the one who insisted on coming to the brothel. He had no one to blame but himself for being frightened. The brothels were a little afraid. As they left, they muttered, "Young Master Yuan, please don't kill anyone." Yuan Tianshu glared at him. What the hell was he talking about? Then, he picked up the teapot on the table, took a mouthful of water, and spat it at Wang Yunfei. Wang Yunfei was startled awake. He looked left and right. What's going on? What happened to me? Young Master Wang, are you all right? Yuan Tianshu asked. I'm fine. Wang Yunfei waved his hand. I think I was frightened by something. I was almost scared to death. Do you know who did it? Yuan Tianshu wanted to say that Lin Fan was the main culprit. But suddenly, he felt something was wrong again. Why did Lin Fan keep finding trouble with him? Especially after young Master Wang came to U City. He came more frequently. The problem here was a little complicated. Where was this? This was a brothel, a place where his father hated the most. Based on what he knew, the Wang family was really strict. He heard that young Master Wang wanted to marry into a large family. If that family found out that Wang Yunfei was here, this matter would be ruined. Who was the one who brought them here? Although young Master Wang wanted to come, this was U City, the territory of the Yuan family. He was with young Master Wang, so he was the one responsible. The Wang family wouldn't let him off. His father wouldn't let him off. He thought about that. Yuan Tianshu broke out in a cold sweat. Evil, he really had evil intentions. Whoever said that Lin Fan was trash and brainless, Lin Fan would definitely have smashed his dog head into smithereens. Killing without seeing blood was just too terrifying. Lin Fan, you really are vicious. Although I, Yuan Tianshu, have conflicts with you, you can't set up such a well-hidden trap to deceive me into falling into a trap. Brother Yuan, I am asking you a question. Do you know who did it? Wang Yunfei asked. I don't know, but don't worry Brother Wang, I will give you an explanation. Yuan Tianshu said. Wang Yunfei thought about it. I feel like I have seen that thing before. It seems like that thing that cousin of young Master Lin carries on his back. Yuan Tianshu was astonished. It seemed like Lin Fan did it on purpose to let young Master Wang see the truth. He had many methods, and it was tough to defend against. Impossible, Brother Wang, you must have seen wrongly. Based on what I know, it is still early, and Lin Fan is still sleeping at home. How could he come here? Yuan Tianshu said. He had to clear Lin Fan's name. He definitely couldn't fall for it. Wang Yunfei nodded his head in deep thought. His head hurt, and after being frightened like that, he lost all interest. Yuan Manor. After Yuan Tianshu settled Wang Yunfei down, he went to find his father. Father, recently I have met with some problems. Lin Fan from the Lin family is purposely setting a trap for me. He wants to drag me and Wang Yunfei down with him. Other people say that Lin Fan is trash and stupid, but to me, he is smart and cunning. If I am not careful, I will be doomed. Yuan Tianshu's heart was filled with fear. He had to tell his father about this and tell him to be careful. Compared to Lin Wani, Lin Fan was much more terrifying. Old Master Yuan found it weird. He didn't expect his second son to give Lin Fan such a high evaluation. His brain must have gone haywire. However, there was nothing he could do. During this period of time, Yuan Tianshu went through many things, and he was surrounded by danger. He had to deal with whatever came his way, and before the schemes were revealed, he decisively cleared himself. Now, his evaluation of Lin Fan was really high. Each time, he realized it. Luckily, he came in a rush, otherwise the outcome would have been catastrophic. You can leave first. Old Master Yuan waved his hands. He didn't really believe his son's words. Lin family Lin Wani was a brute, and he didn't study. His son wasn't much better, doing nothing all day. Now, you are telling me that Lin Fan is smart and cunning, and he has many methods. Who would believe you? Yuan Tianchu wanted to say something. Seeing that his father didn't believe him, he felt really helpless. At the same time, he felt fortunate that he came to his senses quickly. In the past, when those things happened, he didn't think so much and just fought Lin Fan head-on. Now that he thought about it, he had probably sunk deep into it. Qin family village was originally controlled by the Yuan family, but now it broke away from them and belonged to the Lin family. It didn't seem like much. However, thinking about it, Qin family village was the property of the Yuan family, but it was taken away by the Lin family without even using a single soldier. Terrifying, really terrifying. Yuan Tianchu's heart was beating really quickly. Who knew that from a long time ago, Lin Fan had been planning to draw them in, but he didn't know about it. If Lin Fan knew about all this, his mind would be filled with questions. Was this young master really so resourceful? Why didn't I see it myself? P.S. Thank you, Drk Dino, Elder has become the alliance leader. Thank you, thank you. P.S. Thank you, Lord Rushu, Elder rewards you 20,000. Chapter 77. Lin Manor. Young master, old master is calling you over. When he returned, old Wu walked over from afar. When he saw the Yin demon on Zhou Zhongmao's back, although he didn't have any expression, his heart was shocked. Why is my father calling me? Lin Fan was curious and felt like it wasn't anything good. It was broad daylight and he didn't cause any trouble recently. Logically speaking, his father wouldn't come to find him. I know. Lin Fan replied. Who cares what it was, he would just head over and find out. Reading room. Old Wu followed beside him. Young master, old master is going to tell you something important, don't make him angry. Before entering, old Wu specially instructed young master. These words confused Lin Fan, and he felt like something bad was going to happen. Father, why are you looking for me? Lin Fan asked. Lin Wani sat there and read. He placed the book down and said solemnly, Fan you aren't young anymore. The Lin family still needs you to pass down the legacy. I have found a marriage for you. Rong City Li family little miss is a good person and is well educated. She is a good match for our Lin family and is a good match for you. The meaning was just so simple. He wanted to find a wife for him. Father, I am still young. Lin Fan was shocked. What a joke. He actually wanted to find a wife for him. He rejected that. How terrifying was the grave of marriage, how could he not know? That would cost one's life. Being a rich family young master and doing whatever he wanted, he was as happy as a god. He didn't want to suffer. Lin Wani squinted. His gaze was a little terrifying. What did you say? His tone was a little off. Like he was saying that if he dared to resist, he was finished. Old Wu persuaded. Young master, I have seen it. That Li family little miss is not bad. She is beautiful and has a good personality. It was true that she was beautiful. However, her personality. It was hard to say. Old Wu, this has nothing to do with whether she is beautiful or not. I am not such a shallow person. Father, you have to be willing in life. A forced transaction won't lead to happiness. You can't push your only son into the fire pit. Lin Fan cried out in pain. Heavens! Earth! Why did something like this happen? Wasn't he living a good life normally? Hee. Lin Wani's smile revealed the charm of a Motherf *Ker. Pushing a fire pit, no one knew who was pushing who. But there was no other way. He had to find a marriage for this unfilial son. The Li family of Chengdu was not bad. He was very satisfied. As for whether it was consensual or not, it didn't matter. As long as you sent me a grandson, everything else was up to you. Okay, don't say useless things to me. This is settled. Even if you don't agree, you have to agree. Otherwise, don't even think about going out. You have to stay at home all day. Lin Wani gave an ultimatum. He didn't even give Lin Fan a chance to resist. Dad! Lin Fan still wanted to fight. What was going on? Why did such a thing happen? What young miss of the Li family? He didn't need any of that. What he wanted was freedom. He wanted to soar in life. Get out. Lin Wani waved his hands and told the unfilial kid to scram. This matter couldn't be rejected, so it was decided. No matter what, I won't agree to it. If you want to marry her, you can marry her yourself. Even if you beat me to death, I won't agree to it. Lin Fan grumbled and left the study room. Rage points plus 111. Lin Wani was furious. This unfilial kid actually dared to resist him. Wasn't he just asking to die? Old master, it is normal for young master to resist. Once he meets the Li family, young miss, maybe he will change his mind. Old Wu said. Lin Wani was so furious that he didn't want to say anything. This unfilial kid is so infuriating. How can I harm him? Old Wu smiled bitterly. Old master was right. He didn't harm young master, but it was for his own good. Back courtyard. Young master, why are you so unhappy? Go Zi saw his solemn expression and felt like something had happened. Hey, Lin Fan sighed. What do you think he's thinking? My father actually wants to find a marriage partner for me. What Li family's missy? Isn't he just pushing me into a pit of fire? Go Zi didn't say anything. He felt that old master was right. Young master had reached the age to start a family. If it was another family's young master, he would have kids at this age. Even if he didn't, he would have many concubines. However, his young master didn't have any. How pitiful. Young master wasn't anxious. He was really anxious. Go Zi, isn't this a little too rushed? Lin Fan asked. Go Zi was stunned. Young master, how was he supposed to reply? However, he could only reply. Young master is right. After getting Go Zi's approval, Lin Fan felt a little better. That's right. Since even Go Zi felt that he was right, then it definitely wouldn't be wrong. He had to deal with it when it came. There was no way out of this matter, so he could only find a chance. If he had balls, then come to the Lin Manor. See how I will let you know what true terror was. What Li family, that was all fake. Since he had nothing to do, he started to tease the Een demon. What was regretful was that this Een demon didn't provide any rage points at all. It was like he was numb and even filled with despair. To Een demons, everyone said that they were terrifying. As long as they faced them, they would basically lose half of their life. But now, he understood. Some people were even more terrifying than Een demons. He was tortured to the point that he was about to collapse. He was already thinking about dying. Kill me. He really didn't want to live anymore. Lin Fan wanted to deal with the Een demon. This thing wasn't a good thing. No matter what, it was the main culprit for killing the Wang family villagers. It was the property of the Lin family, so how could he allow others to damage it? Cousin, throw him into the oil pot and let him die with dignity. Lin Fan waved his hands. Since he was useless, then he would deal with him. It was just so boring to keep him by his side. Okay, cousin. Zhou Zhongmao grabbed the Een demon and walked towards the oil pot. Zhou Zhongmao might seem honest, but in Lin Fan's eyes, his cousin was really cruel. To him, everything was like a normal thing. To outsiders, his cousin was a terrifying existence. He was about to face such a terrifying death journey, so the Een demon should have been terrified. However, the Een demon's face was filled with relief. Like he had waited for a long time and had finally waited for this moment. He hoped that in his next life, he wouldn't fall into the hands of this human. Too terrifying. He couldn't take the pressure in his heart. It didn't matter if his limbs were sliced off. After all, they often dug out their hearts, sucked their blood, and cruelly killed humans. However, humans targeted them and their innocence was ruined. That was something that had never happened before. That kiss would forever be remembered in his heart. He even used his soul ripple to spread out the situation of this human, to tell his fellow race members to be careful. Humans would have an abnormal tendency towards demons. They had to protect their innocence and not let it be tainted. Zzz. The sound of oil exploding spread out. Zhou Zhongmao tossed the demon in. There were no screams at all. Everything exploded out in a rush. Cousin, who witnessed all of this, didn't have any fluctuations in his heart. He even felt like he was letting him off easy. How cruel. P.S. Seeking recommendation votes. Happy New Year. Seeking recommendation votes. Chapter 78. The demon left. He left really peacefully and comfortably. He didn't shout and didn't struggle. The demon was just a passerby in Lin Fan's life. He had already done what he needed to do, adding bricks and tiles to his path, so this trip was worth it. To Lin Fan, his current life wasn't right. He was under a lot of pressure. The rich family young master life he had in his heart was being obstructed all around. That feeling was really bad. Yuan Manor. Wang Yunfei sat on the bed. His expression was really unnatural. His fingers touched his brother. What happened? What is going on? He was really afraid now. After returning, he didn't feel anything wrong. However, he felt that his body was a little uncomfortable. That part seemed a little lazy. It should have been eternal, but now it just hung there without moving. That situation was just too terrifying. Wang Yunfei consoled himself. Maybe it was because he was frightened, which was why there was a temporary problem. Xiao. There was movement from outside. Young master, old master is summoning you back. Wang Yunfei found it weird. He was going back so quickly. He hadn't come to U City for a long time, but it was actually so quick. Understood. He came to U City to enjoy himself. Although the process wasn't so beautiful, this poor U City was still worth seeing. That Hongxiu pavilion was really not bad. He touched his brother and there was no reaction, so he didn't care much about it. It was time to pack up and head back to the manor. The Wang family was really complicated, formed by several factions. He was just one of the stronger ones, but he still couldn't be careless. Marrying into a big family would be really beneficial to him. Although he didn't care about that daughter, for the future, some sacrifices were necessary. As long as he got everything he wanted, no one would be able to suppress him. Rong City, Li family. A white-headed eagle flew in the air, and then dove down towards a rich aristocratic family courtyard. It gave out a sharp cry and attracted the attention of many people. The Li family head walked out from the hall and looked at the white-headed eagle in the air. He frowned solemnly. This was a message item from the U City Lin family. He raised his hand and the white-headed eagle landed. Its claws landed on Old Master Li's arm. There was a bamboo tube on its claws, and within was the Lin family token. He took out the token and looked at the content. Instantly, Old Master Li's expression changed. The contents of the book surprised him. Lin Wani wants to get married? Of course. Regarding this matter, his first thought was not to refuse, but to consider the pros and cons. The children of aristocratic families naturally had to rely on marriage alliances to stabilize their family's strength. The marriage of his eldest daughter, Li Zhixiu, was naturally decided by him. Although U City was a broken city, the Lin family's influence wasn't weak, and they were a good match. There is such a thing. I can't be picky about it. Old Master Li muttered. Others might not know his daughter's situation, but how could he not know? Although she was beautiful, she liked to play with knives and spears, and her temper was very bad. In the past, it wasn't that there weren't young masters from rich families who came to propose marriage, but they were all scared sh*less. His daughter wanted to compete with him in martial arts, but with a sweep of her spear, she almost turned him into a eunuch. From then on, no one dared to propose marriage. A few years had passed. If he didn't have a marriage, there would be gossip. In the backyard. Little miss, not good. A maid hurried over. Li Jisho held a spear and cultivated her family's martial arts. She turned around and struck. A light exploded out from the spear and headed right for the maid. With a buzz, the spear stopped, and it was just a finger away from the maid's face. The maid screamed and fell to the ground. Suelon, what happened? Li Jisho retracted her spear and asked. Suelon heaved a sigh of relief. She was nearly frightened to death by Little Miss. Little Miss, I just learned that the Yu City Lin family came to propose marriage. Li Jisho was really beautiful. She trained for many years, and her body was covered by her clothes. She gave off a heroic aura. Propose marriage? There are people who don't know their place and dare to come to propose marriage. Li Jisho said. Suelon nodded her head. It is the Yu City Lin family. I heard people say that the Lin family young master is trash and has a weak personality. He never cultivates and is just a playboy. If old master agrees, wouldn't he be pushing Little Miss into a fire pit? My father agreed? Li Jisho asked. Suelon wasn't too sure. I don't know, but looking at old master, he doesn't seem to have any intention to reject. Li Jisho's wrist moved and the spear left her hand. With a quang dang, it landed right in the middle of the weapon rack. I agree. Suelon opened her mouth. Little Miss, why did you agree? Li Jisho had her own thoughts. As the daughter of a rich family, she wouldn't decide her own marriage. Over these few years, with her reputation, no one dared to propose. But that didn't mean that she didn't need to marry in the future. Since she couldn't confirm who she would marry in the future, why not choose a weak one? She could also control her own future and not be disturbed. Not cultivating and having a weak personality was good. If she wasn't happy, she would beat her up. Even if she fought back, she definitely wouldn't be able to beat her. To her, the Yu City Lin family was the best choice. Daughter. Old Master Li walked over. Li Jisho didn't say any nonsense. Father, I agree to this marriage. When old Master Li heard this, he didn't have much of a reaction. It was like he saw through his daughter's thoughts. Why not take a look? There is no need. As long as he isn't extremely ugly, I will agree to this marriage. Li Jisho said. If this Lin family young master was too ugly and one look made her want to vomit, then naturally she wouldn't agree. Daughter, you have to think about it. If you agree, I will write a letter back. Old Master Li said. Li Jisho shook her head. Father, there is no need to reply. I will personally bring gifts over. If that Lin family young master is too ugly, I will bring gifts back. If not, I will stay in Yu City Lin Manor. Such a domineering reply. Even if old Master Li was used to his daughter's personality, he was so shocked that he couldn't say a word. That was too casual. She didn't wait for him to come to the Li family to propose, instead bringing gifts to Yu City Lin family. Why did it feel a little off? Little Miss, what about me? Suelon was worried and thought that Little Miss wouldn't bring her along. You definitely have to follow me. I am not used to others serving me, Li Jisho said. A smile appeared on Suelon's face. It was okay as long as she didn't separate from Little Mississippi. Old Master Li felt that his daughter couldn't wait to leave the Li family. That wasn't a good sign. A daughter that was married out was like water that was spilled out. If his daughter caused trouble in the Lin family and the Lin family broke off the marriage, then that would be a little embarrassing. Old Master Li regretted letting this brat train in the past. He thought that with a skill, she wouldn't be bullied in the future. Who knew that so many years passed? He actually raised such a daughter. What a mistake. P.S. Thank you, Drk Dino, Kanyang's teen, the two elders will reward you. P.S. Happy New Year everyone, no red packets, no red packets, just recommendation ticket. How cheap is that, hee hee. Chapter 79. Young Master Wang received news from his family that he was leaving U City. Naturally, he was reluctant. Hongxiu Pavilion's 108 styles didn't even end. That was because it was filled with too many temptations. He held his spear and went into battle, but he was frightened halfway. The repercussions came and he fell to the ground. Let's not talk about it. If he said too much, it would just be tears. Yuan Tianchu sent him off, squeezing out 2 drops of tears with much difficulty. He acted like his good friend was leaving and felt sad. Brother Wang, in a short few days we have built a deep friendship. Although I am reluctant, your life dream is so far away. I look forward to the day we meet again. People who liked to talk about literature all spoke really well. Wang Yunfei teared up and grabbed Yuan Tianchu's hand. Brother Yuan, I am leaving. Have a safe trip. Yuan Tianchu said solemnly. The two of them appreciated each other. People who didn't know about the situation would really think that the two of them had a deep relationship. Only when Wang Yunfei left did Yuan Tianchu's expression turn solemn. Naturally, he had a reason for being so close to Wang Yunfei. Young Master Wang has left. Manager Lu said. Yuan Tianchu nodded his head. Manager Lu, have you paid attention to the things I told you to pay attention to? He didn't care much about the Lin family taking in the villages that the Yuan and Liang families didn't want. However, since he understood that Lin Fan was a smart person, he told Manager Lu to pay attention to the situation of the few villages. Although he didn't know what he meant, as long as he learned, even if he suffered losses, he wouldn't suffer too much. Steward Lu pondered for a moment and said, Young Master, during this period of time, I've noticed that the villagers in these villages are very motivated. There's a huge change compared to the past. If they used to use 50% of their strength in farming, then they're using 10% now. As expected, Yuan Tianchu understood once more. Why would such a smart person do something he wasn't confident in? So he had a plan. Follow my instructions and find some refugees to build another village. Follow Lin Fan's instructions. Yuan Tianchu naturally knew how sick it was to reduce taxes for the villages. However, since Lin Fan did that, naturally, he had his reasons. Even if they were unwilling, as long as they followed him, they wouldn't suffer too much. Yes, young master. Even though Steward Lu didn't understand why the young master wanted to do this, he still listened to the young master's instructions. Yuan Tianchu turned around with a serious expression on his face. Lin Fan, I, Yuan Tianchu, am willing to call you the smartest person in the world. Although I don't know what you mean by this, I will learn from you. Even if I can't earn a lot, at least I won't lose out. That was what he was thinking now. He really couldn't understand what Lin Fan was doing. He was just harming himself to benefit others. What else could he gain by lowering the agricultural taxes to such an extent? What a waste of good farmland for those lowly commoners. But even so, he still had to follow her. After all these things, he finally understood that Lin Fan was not an ordinary person. Everything he did contained some kind of great benefit, but it wasn't going to be easy. He needed to go back and comfort his father. Although it wasn't a big deal, it wasn't a small matter either. If his father didn't understand, he would definitely be disappointed, so he had to comfort him. 1 week later, Lin Fan had nothing to do all day. He truly felt how carefree the young masters of rich families were. Even that assassin suddenly disappeared like he had evaporated from the world and didn't find trouble with him. If it was in the past, he would have thought that he had reached the peak of his life. But he knew that it was impossible. The assassin was definitely tired and was preparing for a huge wave. He walked around the city. He wanted to find some rage points, but what made him feel despair was that there was nothing at all. Yuan Tianchu seemed to have disappeared. He couldn't even see his shadow. Then, he found out that Yuan Tianchu was learning from him to reduce agricultural taxes, to give his farmland to the refugees, to build new villages in the city. To him, this was a good thing, so he didn't purposely find trouble with him over this. No matter if he succeeded or not, the ones who were unlucky were the refugees. Giving them a way out was the best start. That day, a carriage drove into U City. The carriage wasn't luxurious, but it was tightly guarded. There was a huge box tied at the back. Everyone who passed would take a look. Although U City was a city, there were very few people who rode carriages. Suelon followed the carriage and looked at the environment. She frowned and said softly, "Little miss, we have arrived at U City, but the environment here is so broken. It can't be compared to Rong City at all. Their roads are all mud, and if it rains, it will be tough to walk. Let's head to the Lin family first." Li Jixio's voice spread out from within. People who didn't know the situation would think that Li Jixio was anxious to marry her off. But her intentions were clear, which was to take a look at the Lin family young master. If he was really ugly, then she would turn around and leave. Even if she was casual, she wouldn't marry her off so easily. Suelon despised U City. It was really broken and couldn't be compared to Rong City. It wasn't that she despised it. But to her, her little miss was so outstanding, so how could she marry to such a poor place? She had to marry someone from a rich family. She felt pity for her little Mississippi Lin manor. 2 imperial bodyguards stood straight and did not move an inch. They were both trained people, and were not comparable to the imperial bodyguards of the Yuan and Liang clans. If they were to fight, they could beat up a group of people and still be fine. They saw the family emblem on the carriage, and knew that it was the symbol of an aristocratic family. Li Jixio opened the curtain and got off the carriage. The guards were shocked. What a beautiful woman, but she didn't give off a weak feeling. Instead, she gave off a feeling like she had cultivated for a long time. "May I ask who you are looking for?" the guard asked. Suelon wanted to reply for Little Miss, but Little Miss spoke up directly. "Rong City, Li family." When the guard heard this, he understood what was going on. Old Master proposing for young Master wasn't a secret, and many people knew about it. He welcomed the Li family Little Miss in and then informed Old Master. However, to them, this was a little crazy. It was just a marriage proposal, and before it was confirmed, the Li family Little Miss charged over like she couldn't wait. Was their young master really so charming? She didn't even have a chance to resist. Lin Wani was reading in the reading room. When he learned that the Li family Little Miss personally came, his expression changed, and then he was delighted. That was great. She personally came. He was simply a little impatient. "Little brother Wu, go and call that brat over. Tell him to dress me well and don't give me those useless things. If he messes around, I'll skin him alive." Lin Wani was really anxious, but he knew that the unfilial kid was against matchmaking. If he casually came out and gave her a bad impression, then wouldn't the matter be ruined? Chapter 80. In the backyard, Lin Fan was living a life that normal people couldn't enjoy. Lying there, he ate the fruit leisurely. Go Zi squatted at the side and waved his fan. During this period of time, he noticed that young master was really bored and wasn't used to his current life. "Young master." Old Wu walked over and saw that young master was still lying there. "Old master wants you to tidy up and meet someone." Lin Fan laid comfortably and asked curiously, "Who?" Whenever a big shot came to the Lin family, he would have to go out and meet him in person. The weather now was really hot. He laid down comfortably and ate iced fruits while Go Zi fanned himself. Those days were so comfortable and he didn't want to move at all. Miss Li of Rong City is here. Old Wu said, Young master, listen to this old man. Pack up and go, otherwise, old master will be angry. Lin Fan was very against this marriage. Damn. Was this the demon that the children of rich families could never escape from? To this. He didn't believe it. Elder Wu, just say it. Is my father too anxious? I'm still young. Lin Fan said. Old Wu calmly looked at his young master. Are you joking with this old man? Small? He really couldn't tell. Young master, old master has instructed you to pack up and head over. Don't make him angry. Whether or not you can succeed is a problem, but you can't throw the Lin family's face. Old Wu said. He actually hoped that it would work out. The young master wasn't young anymore. Having a descendant would allow the old master and him to be at ease. Even if he were to die one day, he would have no regret. Lin Fan pondered. Whether he could grasp it or not would depend on this. Risks and benefits coexisted. Old Wu, if I were to suddenly run away, do you think the consequences would be severe? Lin Fan asked. Young master, it's best not to have such thoughts. The consequences are hard to predict. Old master's temper is also very bad. Moreover, old master places great importance on this matter. If young master really does this in the future. Old Wu shook his head and sighed. He did not finish his sentence. It was to leave some suspense for the young master, to leave some thoughts. For the young master to ask like this. This meant that he wasn't wrong. The young master was still the young master and hadn't changed. It had already come to this. He actually had such unrealistic thoughts. Lin Fan was helpless. It seemed like he couldn't run anymore. After being scared by Old Wu, he didn't dare to run anymore. Preliminary estimation. If he ran, he wouldn't earn much rage points. At most, it would be one wave. What if he ran at the same time? Could he not come back? I got it. Lin Fan replied. Go Zi was really curious. He didn't know what young master's partner looked like. Old Wu nodded and left. Go Zi, prepare to meet this woman. Lin Fan said. He was really impressed. He didn't think that they would just kill their way to their doorstep. They hadn't even agreed to the marriage yet. Could they not be so anxious? She definitely wouldn't be able to get married. If she could really get married, she wouldn't be in such a hurry. Inside the mansion, Lin Wani personally received Li Jixio and looked at her from start to finish. He was very satisfied with this future daughter-in-law. A rare smile appeared on his face. Cui Lan stood behind the young miss and didn't make any strange movements. Even if she felt uncomfortable, she couldn't show it. The current situation wasn't something a maid like her could do. Moreover, she did not have any dissatisfaction with the Lin family. The Lin family head was very polite and friendly to her young miss. The Lin family's environment was not bad. If the young miss really agreed, she felt that it was not bad. She wouldn't let the young miss suffer. Niece, your father and I have been friends for decades. We even joked that we would become in-laws in the future. Who knew that our joke would become true? Lin Wani smiled. Of course, he was just bragging. When did he say such things to old Master Li? It was already a good thing that they didn't have any conflicts in the past. Saying all this now was just bragging. Uncle, my father often tells me about your past. Li Jixio said. Ha ha. Lin Wani smiled. Good, very good. If my kid is good enough, then I will have to change the way I address him. He was really satisfied with this future daughter-in-law. Her cultivation wasn't bad. She was also really beautiful. As for her temper, that wasn't a problem. If she wasn't, how could she suppress that unfilial kid? He didn't think about finding a wife who was willing to submit. What was the point of finding one like that? Father, I am here. At that moment, Lin Fan's voice spread in from outside. Everyone in the room turned their eyes towards the door. Lin Wani had an urge to smash that unfilial kid's head. He felt that his tone was a little casual. If he really blew this matter up, he would beat him to death. Rage points plus 123. Lin Fan was shocked. Rage points came. What was going on? He didn't offend anyone, right? Forget it. Having rage points was a good thing. As for this marriage that came too abruptly, he rejected it. He definitely wouldn't push himself into a fire pit. Not bad, Suelon muttered. When she saw the Lin family young master, she naturally stared at his face. What made her unhappy was that the Lin family young master was holding something in his hands. He ate as he walked, like he didn't care about this matter at all. Rage points plus 12. Lin Wani squinted, his face turned cold. If not for little Miss Li being here, he would have scolded him. He was dressed quite well. He didn't embarrass himself. Lin Fan held a porcelain bowl with fruits in it. He tossed one into his mouth. Father, why did you find me? Fan, you are here. This is little Miss Li. Lin Wani smiled and said. He even called him Fan. It was a little terrifying. Li Jixio sat there expressionlessly. When Lin Fan sized her up, she was also sizing him up. He did look like what Suelon said, a playboy. Being a playboy wasn't a problem. What she was looking for was a good-for-nothing rich kid, the kind with no great ambitions. If he was trash, then naturally it would be better. Lin Fan squinted and sized up Li Jixio. She was beautiful, but was he a guy that could be seduced just because she was beautiful? That was impossible. Oh, little Miss Li, hello. Do you want a banana? Lin Fan took out a banana from the plate. Lin Wani's fingers shook. Unfilial kid, are you a demon? This was the first time they met. He just told her this. Rage points plus 233. Lin Fan found it weird. What was going on? Why did he get rage points again? Didn't he just treat her to a banana? Why was he angry? He wasn't prepared to fight her here. No matter how strong the battle was, he would be the unlucky one. Li Jixio's thoughts were simple. She could confirm that the rumors were true. The Lin family young master was indeed trash. However, it was good that one had to make their own decisions in life. Niece, my son Lin Wani wanted to explain, but Li Jixio didn't give him a chance. Instead, one sentence shocked him so much that he sat there. Uncle, I agree, Li Jixio said. Lin Wani was stunned. What did you say? Father. Li Jixio got up and kowtowed. Lin Fan was stunned. That was just too quick. Even the way she called him changed. Lin Wani couldn't sit still. He stood up straight, surprise flashed in his eyes. He hurried forwards. Xiao, quickly get up. This surprise came too quickly. Even he couldn't adapt to it. Lin Fan looked at Li Jixio in shock. She was an expert who planned everything. The first time they met, in just 3 sentences, she changed from uncle to father. She didn't give him a chance to fight back at all. Even if he didn't agree now, it would be useless. He might even get beaten up by his father on the spot. P.S. Thank you. If you didn't exist, I will reward you. P.S. Happy New Year everyone. I don't want red packets, just recommendation ticket. Give me some. Chapter 81. Too quick. Things happened too quickly. It was so quick that no one could react. Lin Fan felt like he had met his match. Looking at father's expression, he was delighted. If he knocked into a gun, the outcome would be catastrophic. Even if he needed rage points, that would depend on the situation. Not only was Lin Fan shocked, but even Suelon was stunned by her little miss's actions. She didn't expect little miss to be so proactive and decide on a marriage. Xiao, we are a family. Does your father know? Lin Wani asked. He really wanted his unfilial son to marry her to wipe away all the hope in his heart. Li Jixio said calmly, Father has agreed. Good, that's good. I think we should choose a good date to settle this matter. This wedding has to be beautiful, the grander the better. Lin Wani smiled and didn't ask for Lin Fan's opinion at all. Lin Fan shouted in his heart. Father, no matter what, you have to ask for my opinion, okay? Ask whether or not I agree. It wasn't good to make the decision like that, right? He looked towards Go Zi and Go Zi gave him a helpless gaze. How was this something that a servant like him could control? If he dared to say anything, old master would beat him to death. He had no choice. Lin Fan couldn't sit still and wait for death. He could only attack. However, his tone was polite and he didn't dare to go head-on. Father, don't you think this is a little weird? I don't know her and just decided on such a huge matter. Isn't this too casual? There was a plot. There was definitely a plot. This girl's tricks were a little deep and she seemed really eager. He wasn't a narcissistic person. Although he was good in all aspects, he wasn't someone who would jump into her arms just because they weren't familiar with each other. It's the orders of my parents and the words of the matchmaker. Father came to the Li family to propose marriage, and my parents already agreed. Li Jishio said. She called him father really well. If one didn't know the situation, they would have thought that Li Jishio was from the Lin family and not the Li family. Good, that's good. Xiao is now my daughter-in-law. Lin Wani smiled and then squinted at Lin Fan. His gaze was really sharp, like he was saying that if he dared to blow this up, he would break his legs. Lin Fan was on the verge of collapsing. He had lost this battle too quickly and was unable to fight back at all. The key was that his father was on the other side, so the other side had the initiative. What could he use to fight against them? He was already at a disadvantage from the very beginning. His father's thoughts were very clear. He wanted him to get married. Now that a daughter-in-law had come knocking on his door, how could he let her go? Xiao, when do you want to get married? Lin Wani asked. Everything will be decided by father, Li Jishio said. She didn't want to ask about these things. After the wedding, everything would be settled and her goal would be achieved. Lin Wani's smile widened. He had never been so happy before. Sensible, truly sensible. He was increasingly satisfied with Li Jishio, who was about to become his daughter-in-law. Old master, why not let young master and Miss Li have a good chat? We can also look at the date and prepare. Old Wu said. He was afraid that the young master wouldn't be able to suppress it and start a battle. At that time, he wouldn't be fighting alone. Lin Wani nodded and then instructed, Fan have a good chat with Xiao. He then said softly into his ear, Don't give me all those useless things. If you dare to mess around, you are dead. Threat, a blatant threat. Oh my God. What was so good about this girl? She actually made his father so happy, totally roping him in, making him so weak that he couldn't go up against the rest. Lin Wani and Old Wu left the living room. Especially his father, his footsteps became more and more ethereal. Li Jishio was really calm and her gaze towards Lin Fan didn't waver at all. Miss Li, amazing. Lin Fan raised a thumb. She was really vicious and decisive. Normal people wouldn't be able to do that. But her actions were so natural and smooth. Normal people wouldn't be able to handle it. But for him, Lin Fan, to lower his head, that was even more impossible. From now on, you are my husband. You can call me Xiao. Li Jishio said. She was still doing this? If a normal guy saw such a beautiful girl, he probably wouldn't be able to control himself. But who was Lin Fan? He was a true man who was willing to fight for freedom. How could she seduce him with just a few words? Don't do those useless things. Just because my father agrees doesn't mean that I agree. A marriage without feelings is just a transaction. I have a tendency to be violent, especially towards women. My tendency to be violent is even more serious. You have to be careful. Father wasn't here, so Lin Fan didn't care at all. He directly said that it was impossible for her to marry into the Lin manor and tie him down. Rage points +13. Suelon was furious. How could young Master Lin say that? If not for little miss not wanting her fate to be controlled by others, she wouldn't have come here. Scoff. She pouted and stared at Lin Fan in rage. She was really angry. How cute. Go Zi glanced at Suelon without batting an eyelid. She had a round face and was red. She was his type. However, now that young Master and little Miss Li weren't on good terms, he couldn't drag young Master down. Violent tendencies? Li Jixio ripped open the banana and opened her mouth. She didn't try to avoid it at all, swallowing it right away. With a flick of her wrist, the banana's skin flew out. Pung! The banana was like a sharp blade, directly slicing in and embedding itself into the fake mountain. Li Jixio brought Suelon out. When she walked to the door, she turned around and said, "I am looking forward to it." Within the room, Lin Fan and Go Zi were stunned. "Young Master, she is so arrogant," Go Zi said. "I noticed that she is indeed arrogant and strong. She swallowed a banana so long in one mouthful. She is a vicious person." Lin Fan's expression was solemn and he felt like he had met his match. Until now, he didn't understand why this girl came to the Lin family. Looking at the current situation, the Lin family didn't have anything worth others coveting. "Let's go find my cousin," Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao was in secluded meditation during this period of time. Peak grade 8 and was about to break through to grade 9. He hadn't crossed this barrier yet. He came to where his cousin lived, and there were guards at the door. When the guard was prepared to tell Lin Fan that the teacher was in secluded meditation, Zhou Zhongmao walked out from within. He didn't see anything wrong. He still wasn't able to break through. He was just lacking a little. "Cousin!" Lin Fan shouted. Zhou Zhongmao raised his head and saw his cousin. He walked over right away. "Cousin, why did you come?" "Haze." Lin Fan sighed. He felt bitter in his heart and told his cousin about what happened. "Cousin, what do you think we should do now? This girl came prepared, so we have to think of a way." Zhou Zhongmao was dumbfounded. He really couldn't do anything about it. He even felt that it was quite good. It wasn't a bad thing. However, his cousin didn't agree, so he had to stand on his side. Chapter 82. Back Courtyard. Lin Fan and his cousin were plotting something. This matter was really intense, like an army of 10,000 wouldn't be able to stop them. They charged forwards bravely and couldn't be stopped at all. The key was that with father there, he was weak and it was tough for him to go up against them. "Cousin, uncle has already agreed. If he finds out that you are doing this, it won't be easy to solve," Zhou Zhongmao said. It was better to just let it go and listen to her uncle's words. "Even if it isn't easy, I have to. Why do I feel like you want me to be pushed into the fire pit? Whose side are you on?" Lin Fan patted Zhou Zhongmao's head and said. Zhou Zhongmao scratched his head and felt helpless. "Cousin, I will definitely stand on your side." Lin Fan calmed down. "That's more like it. If you don't stand on my side, my heart will be hurt by you." Li Jixio was loved by Lin Wani. Although they weren't married yet, she was already his daughter-in-law. The Lin Manor had many empty courtyards. They directly moved into the biggest and best courtyard. That was enough to show how satisfied Lin Wani was with Li Jixio. He gave her the best courtyard in the manor. When Lin Fan found out about this, he didn't know what to say. Within the room, Suelon tidied up the room. "Little miss, old Master Lin treats you really well. But that young Master Lin doesn't look like a good person." She held a pot of broccoli and placed it by the window. This flower was really fragrant and would quickly fill the entire room with its fragrance. Whether or not he is a good person isn't important. What is important is that I can control the future," Li Jixio said. When she clashed with Lin Fan in the living room, she didn't care much about it. She was really satisfied with the Lin family. Since she couldn't have freedom in marriage, then she would find a marriage that couldn't control her. First contact. She understood that the Lin family young master didn't like her. That was a good point. It was good that he didn't like her, it would save her trouble. Suelon placed the things and walked beside Little Miss. But Little Miss, it is really painful to be with someone you don't like. If the Lin family young master liked you, then at least someone would coax you. But now, she didn't know what to say. Little Miss didn't like young Master Lin, and young Master Lin didn't like Little Mississippi. This was the first time they met, and there was already the smell of gunpowder. There was still a long way to go, so how were they going to live? I've never met my parents before, but it's the same, Li Jixio said. She didn't take these things to heart at all. On the contrary, he felt much more relaxed. There was no need to worry about those things anymore. At night, the moon was a little round. Li Jixio's appearance made him feel a sense of crisis. Especially during dinner, he found that his father's attitude towards Li Jixio was too good. Instead, he was a little cold to him. His family's status was being suppressed. He had to teach them a good lesson. With the current situation, it would be very difficult to get his father to not agree to this marriage. It could even be said to be impossible. Then there was only one possibility. He wanted Li Jixio to leave the Lin family and return to Chengdu. However, the key problem was that he didn't know if he could defeat his opponent. This was still a problem. Whether we succeed or not will depend on tonight. Lin Fan grabbed the black clothes on the table and hesitated for a moment. He was prepared to take the risk himself. He took off his clothes and prepared to change into black clothes. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew in from outside. It's a little cold. He actually forgot to close the window. Just as he was prepared to close it, a black shadow flashed past. His eyes turned black and he fainted. The moment before he fainted, he only had one thought. The assassin was here. He was finished. Li Jixio's place was lit up. After coming to the Lin family, Li Jixio acted really normally. She didn't feel that sense of loneliness after leaving home. Instead, she felt like this was a new beginning. She was really satisfied with young Master Lin's situation. Suddenly, Li Jixio's ears twitched. There was movement outside and she hollered in rage, "Who is it?" The moment she said that, she took a step forward and quickly rushed outside. There was no one outside. However, she wasn't careless. She didn't hear wrongly. There was a soft sound and someone entered the courtyard. At that moment, what she didn't notice was that there was a black shadow moving on the ground. A person appeared behind her from the black shadow. Her hairs rose. A sense of danger appeared in her heart. A woman's sixth sense belonged to the unknown. She felt that there was someone behind her. This was the effect that came from the explosion of her heart. Pung! Just as she wanted to turn her head and fight back, another blade landed. Her eyes turned black and she fainted. "Uncle, aren't we being a little disrespectful to cousin?" Zhou Zhongmao said softly. "Don't worry about it. I know that you are on the same side as this unfilial kid, but as his cousin, you have to think for him. Do you want him to be single for the rest of his life?" "Of course not." Zhou Zhongmao shook his head, however. "Uncle, little Miss Li hasn't agreed. Aren't we being a little disrespectful?" "What disrespectful? She called me father in the day, so she is my daughter-in-law. It will happen sooner or later. What is the difference if we bring it forward?" Zhou Zhongmao thought about it. Uncle's words made sense. There was indeed no difference. "Stop talking nonsense, hurry up." Two people sneakily carried the two of them into the room and then placed them on the bed. Looking at the two of them who didn't move, Lin Wani was filled with regret. If he knew that this would happen, he would have left some maids for the Lin family. He definitely wouldn't take off Li Jixio's clothes. She was his daughter-in-law, so how could he do such a thing? Take off your cousin's clothes, Lin Wani said. Zhou Zhongmao was shocked. Uncle, are you serious? Then wouldn't cousin be hacked to death the next day? I tell you to do it, so just do it. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Are you going to listen to me? Lin Wani said impatiently. Zhou Zhongmao didn't dare to resist. He would do whatever uncle said. He was traumatized by the training when he was young, so he directly took off his cousin's clothes. Lin Wani lowered his head and looked at his son's crotch. He nodded his head in satisfaction. Not bad, you have some ability. It shouldn't be a problem to have a son. The night was silent. There was no sound. Everything in the room returned to a calm state. Oh! The rooster crowed. The sky was bright. In his sleep, Lin Fan had a very long dream. But luckily, it wasn't a nightmare. He opened his eyes and noticed a face close to him. It was a little familiar, but also a little foreign. Li Zhixiu woke up too, and the two of them looked at one another. Lin Fan placed his hand on Li Zhixiu's chest and habitually pinched it. This wasn't a dream. A bad feeling rose up in his heart. He calmly got up. He was naked, and his clothes were all on the ground. He picked up his clothes and calmly put them on. His expression changed. All right, bitch. So that's what you're thinking. You came into my room and stripped me naked, tarnishing my innocence. How can you be so shameless? Lin Fan scolded as he retreated out of the room. Damn. This wasn't his room. Li Zhixiu was a little stunned, but then she reacted. Her expression changed. With a pring, she bounced up from the bed. Lin Fan, I want your life. Li Zhixiu's face flushed red and she hollered in rage. She reached out and the spear that she brought to the Lin family flew over. She grabbed it and slashed towards Lin Fan. Rage points plus 666. Damn. Lin Fan fled right away. The rage points weren't fake. She was serious. P.S. Please recommend me, hee. Chapter 83. Too much. He really went too far this time. Who was the one who did this? That was way too passionate. She stripped him naked and tossed him onto the bed. Looking at the situation, the girl seemed to be suppressed and didn't feel anything. The two of them slept through the night. Although nothing had happened, this matter was unbearable for anyone. However, rage points were a good thing. Being chased was a gain. Did Li Zhixiu dare to stab him? One didn't need to think to know that she didn't dare to. However, if he was caught, he would suffer some pain. It was best if he fled. If he met her haze, wasn't cousin in front of him? He stopped running and slowed down his footstep. He calmly walked over. Cousin, this girl wants to do me. Stop her. Naturally, he had to be calm in front of his cousin. Such a strong expert was in front of him, so what was there to be afraid of? Zhou Zhongmao was stunned. He felt a little guilty. Last night's incident was done by him and his uncle. It was expected that his cousin would be hunted down. He was here to protect his cousin. If there were any mistakes, he could still make up for it. Logically speaking, he should be hiding in the dark and monitoring. However, cousin was already like that. He couldn't bear to do that and could only appear early. Cousin, are you okay? Zhou Zhongmao asked. Lin Fan said calmly, I am okay. Last night, your cousin was violated by this girl. Who do you think did it? I don't know. Zhou Zhongmao definitely wouldn't admit that he had a part in it. If cousin found out, he would be extremely disappointed. Li Zhixiu charged over angrily but was blocked by Zhou Zhongmao. Cousin-in-law, let's talk about it. Don't fight, it isn't good if you get hurt. Zhou Zhongmao consoled. One was his cousin and the other was his cousin-in-law, so what could he do? It was complicated. Could it be that he would beat his cousin-in-law? If he really beat her up, wouldn't Uncle bring him to the small black room to have a heart-to-heart talk? Cousin, what are you saying? What cousin-in-law? Beat her up? Lin Fan was a little disappointed with his cousin. He even changed the way he called her. Who was he calling her for? Don't just stand there, just rush up and give him a good beating. Your cousin, will take a break at the side. Li Jixio stopped in her tracks. Her expression was still very ugly. She definitely wouldn't dare to stab him. At most, she would just give him a beating. It was just that she was angry in her heart and impulsive for a while. But he couldn't just let things go like this. Rage points plus 333-inch cousin. Did anything happen last night? Zhou Zhongmao asked. Is there a difference? What Lin Fan wanted was for this woman to back off and get out of the Lin family. This was not a place where others could come and behave atrociously. He was living a good life as a young master of a rich family. It was impossible for him to have a daughter-in-law. Unless there was something wrong with his brain, he would not agree to this marriage. Zhou Zhongmao said very seriously, there must be a difference. If something really happens, then I can't do anything. What if my nephew gets hurt? F***ck. What was cousin's brain made of? His thoughts were really outstanding to be able to think of something like this. Miss, are you all right? At that moment, Suelon ran out. She saw little Miss holding a spear like she was about to fight the Lin family young master. She asked nervously. Li Jixio thought about it and took in a deep breath. I am fine. The moment she said that, she stared at Lin Fan before turning around and leaving. In the distance, two people were hiding there. What happened? Why did Zhongmao come out? Lin Wani was a little unhappy. To him, the couple should have fought. Even if they tore apart half of the Lin family, he would be willing to accept it. Fighting was love, scolding was love. If they didn't fight or scold for a day, their relationship wouldn't warm up. Old master, young master isn't little Miss Li's match. What if he gets injured? Zhongmao coming out can be considered as temporarily solving the problem. Old Wu said. He didn't expect that after so long, old master still liked to cause trouble. Especially when he stared at young master. One had to say that. He was praying for young master and hoping that he could hold on. What injury? What can that do? The prosperity of a family doesn't just depend on the men, it depends on the women. If the women aren't strong, then wouldn't the family be wiped out? Lin Wani said. Old Wu stared at his old master. He comprehended something in his heart. Old master was like that in the past, he was used to being bullied. Lin Fan thought about the matter. This matter was really weird. If it was an assassin, he wouldn't have sent him here. All the suspicions pointed to that it was definitely done by his family. The one who looked forward to this the most was his father. Apart from him, who else could it be? Cousin, what are you thinking about? Sister-in-law left. Zhou Zhongmao said. I am thinking about who conned me. Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao's body shook. He was afraid that his cousin would notice something. He was really nervous. Cousin, why would someone do that to you? Lin Fan waved his hands. I will go find my father. Zhou Zhongmao wanted to hold on to his cousin, but he had already left. He patted his face and was terrified. Please don't notice my shadow. I am innocent, everything was forced by uncle. Cousin's feelings for you can be seen by the sun and moon. Reading room. Father, I have something to ask you. Lin Fan stood outside. Enter. Lin Wani calmly sat there. He placed down the book in his hands and raised his head to look at Lin Fan. What is the matter? Father, did you knock me out last night and send me to that girl's room? You even stripped me? Lin Fan said directly. He felt that apart from his father, no one else could do such a thing. Lin Wani was confused. What are you talking about? I don't understand what you are talking about. Continue acting. He didn't even know what happened. Father, this is what happened. I will help you recall whether or not I did that last night. Lin Fan described what happened. The moment he said that, Lin Wani sighed, Hayes, I didn't expect that it would still happen. Fan, don't say any more. Father will tell you what happened. You contracted an illness when you were young, and I searched for all the famous doctors in the world, but they couldn't do anything about it. They said that the reason for your illness was that there were girls around you. Each time you slept, you would wake up and head to a girl's room uncontrollably to release the pure yang energy in your body. To prevent such a situation, I fired all the maids in the Lin family. When he said that, Lin Wani shook his head and sighed. He didn't know what to do. Lin Fan was stunned. Father, did you lie without batting an eyelid? That wasn't the reason, but he actually said that it was the reason. Father, do you treat me as a fool? Lin Fan asked. He definitely treated him as a fool. If he didn't treat him as a fool, would he say such an unrealistic lie? Lin Wani said calmly, Fan, I didn't say that you are a fool. You said it yourself. Forget it. He couldn't get anything out of him. But he was sure that it was his father who did it. Other people wouldn't do such a thing. Chapter 84. After Lin Fan left, Old Wu walked out. Old Master, it seems like young Master knows. Old Master's actions were really amazing. Normal people wouldn't be able to accept it. He pitied young Master's situation. So what if he knows? What can he do? Lin Wani said. Old Wu deeply sympathized with the young Master's situation. Like what Old Master said. So what if he knew? Young Master couldn't fight back. Even if he did, Old Master would press him to the ground. He wouldn't even have a chance to fight back. Back courtyard. Lin Fan's head hurt. Danger was everywhere. This home was just too dangerous. It wasn't much safer than outside. He could even be kidnapped when he slept at night. He wanted to ask who could be more tragic than him. Small support system column. Physique. 120, martial path grade 4, internal strength. 150, martial path grade 5, heart cultivation. Purple Sun 4 Saint Scripture, grade 3, cultivation technique. Vengeful Tiger Blade technique, returning to true, bug controlling technique, basics. Unmovable King Body, unlearnt, lightning blade 4 strokes, mastery through comprehension, mixed energy broken jade hand, unlearnt. Rage points. 3477. Lin Fan's current cultivation wasn't weak. One could even say that he was really strong. However, the place he lived in was too small, and the people he met either didn't know how to cultivate or had cultivated for a long time. The people he met were all experts. This gave Lin Fan a misconception that he was still really weak. Add points, he had to add points. His physique jumped, increasing bit by bit. He consumed 3,000 rage points. Physique. 150, martial path grade 5. His body changed greatly, and each grade he raised gave him a different feeling. His body was filled with strength, and his meridians seemed to have expanded. He picked up the small knife in the fruit bowl and casually sliced his thumb. It should have been a wound that was bleeding. Regretfully, there wasn't even a white mark. If I raise my body realm, will I be invulnerable? Lin Fan muttered. He had some thoughts in his heart. Who knew whether or not he could block a heavy strike now? But he didn't dare to experiment. He was afraid of pain. If he really sliced it open, he would probably die from the pain. Once he had rage points to raise the Purple Sun 4 Saint Scripture, his internal strength would have a qualitative change. But now it was better to raise his martial path realm. Afternoon. Lin Fan was going to the city to take a look. When he passed by the training grounds, he saw Li Jixio practicing. The spear in his hand had already disappeared. His chi spread out and formed a circular chi field around him. In front of him was a humanoid wooden training dummy. Li Jixio saw Lin Fan from the corner of her eyes. Her face was expressionless as she increased the power in her hand and thrust her spear towards the wooden training dummy's crotch. But the wooden training dummy was split into pieces. If it was a real person, they would have already lost everything. Cousin, this girl is good. You should reward her, Lin Fan said. Zhou Zhongmao scratched his head. Cousin-in-law is indeed amazing. Watch my ass. He didn't think that his cousin would really call her sister-in-law. It seemed like he had to brainwash his cousin. Rage points +6. Suelon passed the towel to Little Miss, and when she heard young Master Lin's words, she was a little unhappy. How could he say that about Little Miss? How was Little Miss not bad? She was just amazing. Towards these small rage points, Lin Fan really didn't want to say much. It was inconspicuous. Cousin, let's go. Lin Fan glanced and walked out. He suddenly noticed that if Li Jixio stayed in the Lin family, the one in danger wouldn't be him but Li Jixio. Anyone with a brain would know who did it last night. However, there was nothing he could do. One was too weak and couldn't fight back. Little Mississippi, Suelon saw that Little Miss was expressionless and was a little worried. Li Jixio didn't want to say anything. She understood that she had been thinking about something wrong. Old Master Lin wasn't easy to deal with. What happened last night should have been done by Old Master Lin. It was too terrifying. He came and went without a trace. Before she could react, she fainted. Suelon, prepare some wooden boards and nails for me, Li Jixio said. Suelon didn't understand. Little Miss, why do you need to prepare these things? Don't ask, just prepare them. Li Jixio was facing a huge enemy. The real danger to the Lin family was probably Lin Wani. She thought too much about everything. On the streets, Lin Fan casually strolled, and the commoners all respectfully greeted him. His reputation in Yu City was really good, and the things he did were loved by the commoners. The sound of horse hooves spread out from the distance. A few black horses galloped on the streets of the city. Many commoners were frightened. Move aside, move aside. The horses were all muscular men. On their backs were huge blades that were as wide as a palm and were wrapped in white cloth. Lin Fan stood in the middle of the road and looked at the galloping horses. He didn't back off at all. Move aside. The leader was a man who was 8 feet tall. He had a leopard's head and a tiger's beard. His voice was like thunder and he didn't show any signs of slowing down. Cousin, stop him, Lin Fan said calmly. Zhou Zhongmao stepped forward, leaving a deep hole in the ground. He reached out with his arms and grabbed the front legs of the black horse. He hollered. He directly went up against the charging strength of the black horse and then pulled with his arms. Poochie! The black horse was ripped into two, blood splattered all around. Many commoners didn't dodge in time and were died. The muscular man on the horse was shocked. He stepped on the back of the horse and flew into the air before landing on the ground. Hualulu! The people behind all stopped and pulled the rope. The black horse raised its legs and stood firmly. Cousin, I told you to stop him, so why did you rip his horse? Lin Fan was helpless. Zhou Zhongmao turned his head and smiled. I couldn't help myself. Okay. Lin Fan nodded his head. His reason was good and there were no problems at all. You are asking to die. The muscular man was furious. His face turned red and he reached out to take out the blade on his back. However, when he heard Lin Fan introduce himself, he subconsciously retracted his hand. Lin Fan raised his head and said, I am the Lin family, young master. You are galloping in my territory. Did you ask for my permission? The muscular man cupped his fists and smiled. So it is the Lin family, young master. I have heard of your name for a long time. I have heard of your name for a long time. Do you know what I am called? Lin Fan asked. The angle of the question was a little tricky. The muscular man had an awkward expression on his face. It was a normal conversation, so was there a need to not give him face? Rage points +123. You are so old and you are still lying, Hayes. Lin Fan shook his head and then pointed at the people behind. All of you get off your horses. Are all of you lawless? Is the city a place for you to ride horses? The muscular man waved his hands and told them to get off. Young Master Lin, this is our first time here and we don't know the rules here. Please forgive us. Forget it, forget it. Since you know you are in the wrong, then I won't lower myself to your level. Let's go. Lin Fan waved his hands. He had to control things. The muscular man cupped his fists. Let's go. Instantly, the people who followed got onto their horses once more. Wait, what is going on? I told you not to ride horses in the city, and you still want to ride? Cousin, confiscate your horses. However, don't worry, my family is huge and I won't be greedy for your horses. When you leave, just come to the Lin family to find me. As a U-City aristocratic family, the Lin family had to control the security here. Especially these muscular men, one look and one knew that they weren't good people. Rage points plus 111. Rage points plus 88. Rage points plus 123. 3 sets of rage points. It was obvious that they belonged to the 3 of them. Okay, since young Master Lin said that, then we will follow your plan. In the future, we will head to the Lin Manor to get the horses. The muscular man cupped his fists and said, "How easy to talk to." That was a little out of Lin Fan's expectations. The 3 of them left quickly. Cousin, where did they come from? Lin Fan asked. Normally, these people would rarely appear in U-City. Zhou Zhongmao thought about it for a moment. They should have cultivated their bodies. Black horses only appear in the northern plains, so they came from the north. I am asking you where did they come from and what power they were from. Lin Fan was helpless. Cousin's thinking was a little special. Zhou Zhongmao shook his head, simply saying, I don't know. Lin Fan didn't ask any more. He turned his head and looked at those people who left. He shook his head. The horse that was ripped apart by his cousin was a little innocent. He gave the meat to the commoners and let them split it among themselves. He then got on the black horse and slowly patrolled the city. It was indeed good to have a horse to ride. P.S. Thank you, book friend 20180316010946777, Big Boss, reward me. P.S. It should be released on the 20th. Chapter 85. Recently, U-City was too quiet. There wasn't much fun. Liang Yongqi was injured and resting at home. He hadn't met him in a long time and missed him. Yuan Tianchu didn't appear either. Who knew if he was purposely avoiding him? He knew that with the current situation, U-City was the safest. If he left U-City, it would be different. In the distance, the 3 burly men walked on foot. Leader, that Lin family young master is too much, a male said. He carried an iron rod on his back. It was made of pure iron and weighed 50 kilograms. Looking at them, they seemed really wild and didn't look like normal people. It is okay, just do our job, the leader said. It was obvious that he didn't care about what happened before. However, Zhou Zhongmao attracted his attention. He tore a black horse with his bare hands and was really strong. His martial path had reached a really high realm. Who knew that the Lin family would actually develop such an expert? After walking for a long time. Boring. Lin Fan rode on the horse. It was really boring, let's go home. He thought that there would be fun, but regretfully, U-City was really calm. He didn't see anyone he was familiar with and didn't see anyone he could mock. Calculating the time. Liang Yongqi should have recovered. Maybe when that happened there would be a lot of fun. Lin Manor. When Lin Fan was prepared to step into the manor, he asked, after I left, did anyone come to the Lin Manor? The guard at the door said respectfully, Young master, 3 men came to meet old master. 3 men? He couldn't help but think back to the few fellows he met on the way. Who knew that they actually came to the Lin family and knew his father? Who knew whether or not they would snitch on him? Bring the horses away. Lin Fan walked towards the manor. He was thinking about something in his heart. The guard was dumbfounded. Where did the young master get these two superior horses for a trip out of the house? Cousin, the 3 men we bullied came to our manor. Do you think they will snitch on me and tell my father that we bullied them? Lin Fan asked. Don't worry, cousin, I will take responsibility for this, Zhou Zhongmao said. When they reached the courtyard, there was an air-tearing sound. Pung! A burly man was sent flying. Shortly after, another 2 burly men flew out from the living room and struck the ground in a parabola. They spat out a mouthful of blood. Aren't they the 3 burly men I met on the road? He didn't expect to be killed so easily. That was a good thing. Lin Wani, you old man, you dare to go against King Wudong's orders. The leader collapsed to the ground. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, and his chest was deflated. That palm strike had almost taken his life. Bang! Instantly, Lin Fan rushed over and lifted his leg to kick the man's back. The man didn't notice and pounced forward, falling flat on his face. Preposterous, you even dare to scold my father and charge around you city. I knew that you weren't a good person. The strength of his kick was not small. Physique and internal strength had both reached the 5th rank of the martial path, so naturally, the power that exploded out was terrifying. Fan move aside, Lin Wani said. Lin Fan had originally thought that these 3 guys were very familiar with his father, but it turned out that they were also here to get beaten up. It seemed like there were new toys for him to play with. Instantly, Lin Wani's gaze was ice-cold. He was prepared to kill the 3 of them. Killing intent seeped out and the 3 of them shuddered. They didn't expect that Lin Wani would actually want to kill them. In the distance, Li Jixue looked at the situation in the courtyard and frowned. She didn't know who the 3 of them were, but she knew who King Wudong was. He was a person with a really high status in the imperial city. He could cover the entire sky with one hand. Seeing that his father was about to attack, Lin Fan was a little reluctant. Father, show mercy. You can't kill them. Lin Wani stopped and raised his palm in the air. If he slapped down, they would probably all die. The 3 of them heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Wani, you don't know what's good for you. Who knew that your son knew what's good for him? Seeing his father's confused gaze, Lin Fan explained, Father, killing them is too easy. I have nothing to do, so why not leave them for me? I have some ideas. Cousin, break your arms and legs, your 4 limbs are all useless. Lin Fan's expression was really calm, and there was a faint calmness to it. The words he said were like he was asking his cousin to kill a pig. He didn't treat them as humans at all. Okay, cousin. Zhou Zhongmao didn't care about whether or not he was cruel. He grabbed the ankle of one of them and used strength. With a crack, the sound of bones breaking could be heard. The man's ankle seemed to have deflated and was directly crushed into a pancake. Screams spread out. Zhou Zhongmao didn't show mercy. After he crushed the ankle, he crushed the hand. Very quickly, the 3 of them were all crippled by him. Cousin, your methods are a little overbearing. Why don't you just break their meridians? Lin Fan sucked in a deep breath. Although he didn't feel any pain on his body, the screams made his heart turn cold. Zhou Zhongmao shook his head. Cousin, they are all experts and can regenerate their meridians. Once you crush them, there won't be such a problem. Okay. Lin Fan nodded his head. He learned it. Although his cousin was a little slow, he wasn't stupid. When the Lin family guards saw this, they would be lying if they said they weren't afraid. Teacher was too terrifying. When he crushed their limbs, he was so calm like he was crushing ant. To the 3 of them, they wanted to die. They didn't expect that Lin Wani would kill them, but now that their limbs were crushed, that was something they didn't expect. Father, leave them to me, Lin Fan said. Lin Wani was stunned. What was going on with this unfilial kid? He said that he was trash, but his methods were a little vicious. Although he didn't personally do it, to be able to say such words meant that he wasn't ordinary. Go. Lin Wani waved his hands and didn't want to say anything more. After getting his father's approval, Lin Fan smiled. Cousin, bring them to the back courtyard. Zhou Zhongmao grabbed one in each hand and another one under his arm as he walked towards the back courtyard. When Lin Fan passed the entrance, he realized that Li Zhixiu was there. She gave out a weird smile like she was saying, "Did you see that? This is how violent I am. You should know what to do and scram. Otherwise, my next target will be you." Within the living room. Old Master, I didn't expect King Wudong to send someone to persuade you. Why don't we tell them that King Wudong wants to rebel? Old Wu said. There is no use, no one will believe this. Lin Wani shook his head. What he was worried about wasn't being enemies with King Wudong, but whether or not the other cities were persuaded by King Wudong. Forget it, let's not think about this first. Let's marry that unfilial kid and solve one of my worries. Have you found someone to choose a date? This was what he was most anxious about. It was rare for a girl to be cheated to his door, so he had to rush. Old Master, I think we should have a good chat with young Master. If he doesn't agree and we force him too much, he might run. Old Wu was worried. If he dares, I will break his legs. Lin Wani raged. Old Wu sighed. With my understanding of young Master, he really dares. Chapter 86. Little Miss, I feel that this Lin family is really dangerous. Suelon's face was a little white. Cousin's actions had frightened the cute little girl. They peeked and saw that the limbs of the three men were squashed into pancakes. It was like a rod-shaped thing being squashed into a piece of paper. Could one imagine that scene? The broken bones pierced through the skin, and blood flowed non-stop. It was really tragic. Li Zhixiu was also thinking about this matter. Her original plan was to find a playboy and get married on the surface. They wouldn't care about each other, they would live their lives and she would live hers. No one would offend one another. However, what happened last night gave her a wake-up call. Things didn't develop as she expected. Old Master Lin was really dangerous. Back courtyard. The three men cried out in pain. They didn't expect that they would be trashed to such a state. Cousin, what should we do now? Zhou Zhongmao tossed the three of them on the ground and asked. Listening to Cousin's orders was what he should do as a cousin. Find 3 wooden pillars and tie them up. Lin Fan said. The Yin demon left peacefully. He thought that he would be lonely, but who knew that 3 more men would take over? Life was just so magical. Very quickly, Cousin carried a wooden pole over and tied the 3 men on it. Do you still remember me? It is okay if you don't. You rode horses in the city, and I knew right away that you weren't good people. I didn't expect you to fall so quickly. Lin Fan exclaimed. Rage points plus 233. Rage points plus 123. Rage points plus 123. To the 3 of them, the main culprit was this fellow in front of them. They would rather die than live like this. They didn't even know what they would face next. If you want to kill, then kill me, I am not afraid. One of them hollered. Lin Fan waved his hands. Fighting and killing isn't good. That is what rough people do. As a rich family disciple, I have read many books and they talk about using virtue to win people over. How can I kill people? Pooey. The man with the rod wanted to spit at Lin Fan, but the moment he had such a thought, a terrifying thing happened. But Cousin was really quick, appearing in front of him like a ghost and slapping him. There was a cracking sound, the sound of bones breaking. The burly man's neck hung down at a strange angle. His eyes were wide open. They might not even know how they died. Cousin, what are you doing? Lin Fan was stunned. Why did he attack for no reason? Didn't he know that this was a huge fortune for his cousin? He didn't even provide much rage points. Cousin, I thought he was going to spit out poison needles. Zhou Zhongmao said. What else could Lin Fan say? There was nothing to say. Cousin's methods were a little fierce. Even if the other party wanted to spit out poison needles, he could just smash their mouth. Why did he have to kill them? Lin Fan walked forward and used one finger to touch his chin. His head moved up and down and he stopped breathing. With a single slap, he broke the other party's neck. Scary. Lin Fan told his cousin to stand there and not move. If he continued, then his gains today would be gone. The leader glared at Lin Fan furiously. The Lin family young master was even more vicious than his father. Rage points plus 333. He was furious, but he hid it and said, "Young Master Lin, we can make a deal." What deal? Lin Fan asked with interest. Let us go and we can let bygones be bygones and introduce you to King Wudong. Your father went against King Wudong's wishes and committed a huge crime. But I can see that you are different from your father. As long as King Wudong recognizes you, what is a small U city? The wider world will be yours. The leader said. How would Lin Fan know who King Wudong was? His title wasn't domineering at all. People who didn't have domineering titles were usually side characters. Lin Fan didn't bother about him. He called Go Zi over and muttered. The leader of the group panicked. What did this Lin family young master want to do? Facing Lin Wani, it was normal for him to be killed because he wasn't strong enough. However, he couldn't see through this fellow. Young Master Lin, you can consider it. King Wudong is one of the most powerful people in the world. As long as King Wudong treats you differently, the benefits will be unimaginable. Your father offended King Wudong and will definitely die. But if you follow King Wudong, not only will you be in charge of the Lin family, but your father will also avoid death because of you. The leading burly man talked incessantly. In the distance, Go Zi dragged an iron bucket over. The air above the iron bucket twisted. The charcoal inside was burning red. When he got close, he felt that the surrounding air became even hotter. When the men saw the iron bucket, their hearts shook. They were familiar with this thing. One could even say that they were really familiar with it. When dealing with some prisoners, they often did this. Lin Fan got up and walked beside the iron bucket. He took out the red-hot iron. Have you studied before? Lin Fan asked. Yes. Beads of sweat dripped down from the leader's forehead. Who knew if it was because of the heat or because he was afraid? Very good. Lin Fan nodded his head in satisfaction. He waved the iron in front of him. Do you know how to read this word? Traitor. The man swallowed and his body trembled. Let me help you write the traitor word. The moment he said that, Lin Fan viciously stabbed him. The man cried out in pain. There was a sizzling sound. Lin Fan frowned. What are you screaming for? I didn't stab you, so what are you screaming for? The man lowered his head and noticed that the iron had stabbed into the dead man's body. Rage points plus 233. Rage points plus 123. The two men were so frightened that they peed their pants. They wanted to die. Damn it, who are you trying to scare with this thing? Lin Fan looked at the words on his body and shook his head. Go Zi, go burn it. The temperature isn't high enough, and the words are a little blurry. How is it, do you feel afraid? Lin Fan asked. The man looked at the Lin family young master in terror. He really was a demon. At the arched door in the distance, Suelon's face turned ashen white. Her body went soft and she fell to the ground. A puddle of water soaked the green bricks. She was so frightened that she peed her pants. She had never seen such a cruel scene. Moreover, it was in broad daylight. She wanted to go back and tell little Mississippi Lin family young master was a demon. He was really cruel. Old Wu was also monitoring. He was afraid that young master would be bewitched by these people. What he didn't expect was that young master was actually torturing them. In the past, he really didn't know that young master had such a hobby. The entire afternoon was really joyous. Lin Fan was really motivated. The 2 remaining men gave him 2,366 rage points. His gains were not bad. However, these 2 men disappointed him. It was like they were so terrified that their guts were about to shatter, and they were not far from death. Kill me, kill me. Demon, if you have balls, then kill me. The 2 men struggled. They only wanted to die now. Young master, it is time for dinner. Go, Z said. It is late and I am a little hungry. Let's go eat. Lin Fan was really calm. These 2 men were still useful, so he had to keep them. Who knows, maybe he would gain something tomorrow. He realized. City didn't seem to be peaceful. Without strength, he might really be killed by others and be chased down from his position as a rich family young master. Hayes. Everything was to protect himself. He was forced into a helpless situation. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.